play. Goals against average, 1. Playoff shutouts, 2. Hot goalie named the Moose, priceless. Johan Hedberg, friend of the frozen few at the Igloo, and good wherever moose antlers and buffalo horns hook up. I think Penguins were funny, but the Moose is the story of the night. It's the Buffalo Sabres, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Game 3 of the series, and as you know, in terms of credit ratings, Mario Lemieux, the man who writes the checks, should get most of the credit, but it's Johan Hedberg, the 27-year-old phenom in net, that's done the trick. 46 of 47. He's already stopped in this series. He's been phenomenal. Mario, for his part, scored 5 minutes in on the Dominator. And this is the scene at Mellon Arena in Pittsburgh where they're all honoring the Manitoba Moose, where Johan played the bulk of the year. They've all got their antlers on tonight. As we say, they got this theory that if you put a moose in your hair, the team will gel, and it certainly has. First goal's been important. They're 6-0 when they scored tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Moose Crossing, 17,148 are wearing these antlers here tonight at the Igloo Run, and don't worry, we'll bring a set back for grapes and maybe even action. It's almost like we've been transported, other than this, to a decade ago when there was the Igloo, the Penguins, and the trail of the Stanley Cup. But it's hard to repeat all of that magic, particularly when one of the key players, number for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Apparently, it is not a Charlie horse. It's something to do with the shoulder. There's a look at Jaromir at the morning skate today at the Mellon Arena, but he did not take the pregame warm-up, and he will not be in the lineup tonight. Jaromir Jagr has done this before, of course, 1999. He was hurt but came back against the New Jersey Devils and delivered the Penguins against the Devils in a brilliant series. Talking about brilliant, that's what Mario Lemieux has been in his return season to the playoffs, and he has a little bit of a history with Dominik Hasek. Game 4, 1992, the cup clinching game. Hasek on in relief of Eddie Belfour, and Mario Lemieux, who won the Conn Smythe. There's a little bit of a precedent here. And then in game number 1, look at this. Off the bench comes number 6 shot. There's the goal. And again, it was great for Mario Lemieux. He is tied for the league leaders, Miroslav Shatan, who is in the lineup tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. And talk about Mario Lemieux. He is playing playoff game number 98 of his career. In the previous 97, an amazing 165 points. The story continues. Now up to Chris Cuthbert and Greg Millen as we get out of the way of the goal judges. Guys.
Thanks, Scott. Good evening, everybody. When you consider Mario's stats, we thought it'd be a matchup of the high-powered Penguins against the Jennings Trophy-winning Buffalo Sabres and their great defense. But, Greg, the story has been Pittsburgh's defense, and when Buffalo tried to get physical, Pittsburgh answered back.
Well, that's what they tried to do in the second game, and it just did not work for the Buffalo Sabres. A couple of big hits in the game. First of all, Zhitnik and Kovalev. Now, Alexei Zhitnik was out of the game after this, but he will play in this hockey game tonight. And how about the collision? 439 pounds, Mario Lemieux against Jay McKee. McKee is done for about a week. Meanwhile, Mario Lemieux bounced right back up and showed his team that he means business. He didn't miss a shift, even though he said he was a little bit dazed after that one, Chris.
So Zhitnik is in, McKee is out, Richard Smellick comes off the injury list. It's a racked-up defense as you see Mario Lemieux take the ice here at the Igloo. Buffalo's also got to worry about their offense, though. Still have not scored an even strength goal in this series. Ron?
Chris and Greg, thanks very much. It is magic to see 66 in the Stanley Cup playoffs again, no doubt about that. Johan Hedberg credits Wayne Fleming, who's overcoaching Team Canada in Hanover, Germany, as the most influential person in his hockey life for giving him a shot in the Swedish Elite League. So there you have it. Buffalo faces a Moose win situation. Coming up, Game 3 from Mellon Arena. You both had it on Hockey Night in Canada.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs on Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Labatt Blue. What would you do for the Stanley Cup? This portion of Hockey Night in Canada brought to you by Ford of Canada. Supporting the drive to achieve.
Kelly, what's Buffalo got to do to get back in the series tonight?
Well, two guys have to play a little bit better. Shatan, he only had, he had 9 points against Philadelphia, only 1 in this series, and Dumont. I know he's a rookie, but he scored a lot of big goals in the regular season and tough goals right in front of the net.
And you were saying Andrew Ference has been outstanding. Mario Lemieux, of course, has been outstanding. One player you think will pick it up for Pittsburgh tonight?
Martin Straka. He's had 2 great playoff seasons, and this year's been average.
Let's get to Game 3. And once again to Mellon Arena, here's Chris Cuthbert and Greg Millen. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Ron. The Pens riding a 4-game playoff win streak into Mellon Arena, which the Sabres must halt to get back in this Eastern Division semifinal. There's the Dominator, who was blunt today, saying there's no choice. We must win today. He is only 3-8-3 here in Pittsburgh in his career. And at the other end, if it's not Mario, here is the toast to Pittsburgh, Johan Hedberg, who has the lowest goals against average and the highest save percentage in these Stanley Cup playoffs. There's Rob Schick along with Mark Fawcett, the referees for tonight's game, with Jean Morin and Pierre Racicot on the lines. And Greg, a must-win for the Sabres, who have only won once in their last dozen visits to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're going to roll 4 lines over, not try to match up too much on their forwards. And the big challenge for Pittsburgh here is to make sure that they play a road game at home. They want to play that same disciplined defensive style that they did so well in Buffalo. And that is extremely important for them. They don't want to get too wrapped up in the crowd. And Lindy Ruff was very intense before this hockey game. He's going to keep his Ford Cup defenseman against Mario Lemieux at all times, one of the 2 pairings. But other than that, he said, hey, we're just rolling them over.
The matchup we expect starts the game with Curtis Brown, Siplikov, and Barada against Mario Lemieux. Jan Hrdina and René Corbet moves up on the right side to replace Jaromir Jagr. Joseph Baranek, who replaced Jagr earlier in this series, also injured. So Corbet gets a shot on the top line.
And Lindy Ruff, as I mentioned, has been tinkering with his line. All 4 line combinations are a little bit different here in this hockey game. And as Kelly just mentioned, Shatan has to get his A game to the rink going here in this series. Just 1 point so far against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he has to be better. And that's one of the reasons why the Buffalo Sabres have had trouble scoring. And there are the 2 pairings, Kalinin and Warner, and Zhitnik and Patrick, that will line up against the 2 top, the other one being the Straka line.
And there is Alexei Zhitnik with the puck in the lineup, despite that heavy hit dished out by Kovalev in game number 2 Saturday afternoon. Mario Lemieux now is the top forward in terms of minutes played in the Stanley Cup playoffs, with the injury problems for Mike Modano. And Lemieux plays it in. Corbet will go after it. It's chopped away from him by Zhitnik. Hrdina along the boards. He's hit by Siplikov, and the puck comes out to center. Lemieux looks cross ice, too far for Kasparaitis, and Hrdina will curl back. And Johnson backhands it deep in the Buffalo zone, and both teams making changes in the opening minute.
And it's amazing not to watch Pittsburgh just run and gun and forecheck. They love to play so far in this playoff run with 4 players in the neutral zone, and they'll just let Buffalo come towards them and then try to counter once they gain possession like this here.
J.P. Dumont, the other player Kelly highlighted before the game, is now on the ice wearing number 17 as the puck sent down into the Buffalo zone and scooped up by the Dominator.
And as you mentioned, Chris, René Corbet here will be with Hrdina and Lemieux. He was injured, around January with a broken foot and didn't have a great season, but he has shown in the past he can put some numbers up, and he hasn't averaged much ice time so far, but that will change in this game tonight without question.
He may play .414 in the first 10 minutes of this game.
And the defense pairings stay the same for Pittsburgh.
And there's René Corbet, who has provided a lot of energy on a 3rd line for the Penguins earlier in the playoffs, but gets a chance to be more offensive tonight. Robert Lang at center. He opened the scoring for Pittsburgh Saturday afternoon, and the Penguins are 6-0 in these playoffs when scoring first. Doug Gilmour is on the ice with Shatan and Afinogenov, who may play a more prominent role for the Sabres offensively in this game. Long pass for Max Afinogenov was broken up. And now Yanni Laukkanen swings it to the right side. Kovalev into Buffalo territory. Pass behind Straka. There's Lang with it. Straka played it in behind the net. That hit referee Fawcett. At the side, it's Straka coming out in front. He's hooked down. Puck went in the net, but I believe play had been whistled down. Play had been stopped on the hooking call. And the Sabres will be shorthanded.
No goal, of course, because the play was whistled down. Doug Gilmour was caught for hooking on right in the crease. He doesn't like it at all. He never does like getting penalized much. But right in the slot after the Pittsburgh Penguins showed some real good pressure off the rush. And let's have a look at Straka coming around on the wraparound. There's Gilmour, hooks him up. Now, do they get possession? Yeah, they'll get it right there afterwards. If we can let it run just a little farther, fellas. And let's see if they get possession of the puck. There, on the Buffalo gain, yes, right there, they touch it just enough. That's when the whistle went, when Shatan touched the puck. And an early power play opportunity. Look for the Penguins here tonight without Jaromir Jagr to just set the puck back to the point and get some traffic in front. And Mario Lemieux will be in his usual spot to the left of Dominic Hasek.
There are times when Pittsburgh will deploy 5 forwards, but in this situation, Ivan Holinka has Hans Janssen at one point, along with Marty Straka. Lemieux up front with Kovalev and Kevin Stevens, who told us prior to the game, Greg, that they've been swarming Lemieux in penalty-killing situations, and without Jagr as an outlet, it's been a tough go for this power play. They're 0 for 9 against Buffalo with the man advantage in this series. Puck kept in by Janssen. Hasek out of the net, now Lemieux, and there's the double team. Barada stepped into Mario, but the puck comes out to center. It's a 2-on-1 the other way, but Zitnik peels back as he's on a change. And now we've got another penalty as there's some traffic at center ice.
And I think Stevens is going to get it for sticking up for Mario Lemieux after Barada gave him a pretty good ride on the sideboards. And Schick is at the penalty box, and he's going to call roughing. So that's exactly what happened, right? Here comes Lemieux, and you mentioned it, Chris, that he's getting double teamed. And here comes, boom, Barada with a high elbow there on Mario Lemieux, and there's Stevens right afterwards retaliating. And that's why he's in the penalty box. A little 4-on-4 hockey for a minute 13, and then the Buffalo Sabres will have a short power play opportunity.
So the face-off will come back in the Pittsburgh zone. Bob Bugner telling us prior to the game that when Jay McKee tried to hit Mario and got the worst of it, it really picked up the Penguins team. And there's no question that 66 has been a huge source of inspiration for his teammates in these playoffs. 4-on-4, Stu Barnes, the former Penguin, is out on the ice along with Donald Audette. Wayne Primo will counter for Pittsburgh. Number 15 with Morozov, 95. Andrew Ferentz at the right point. His shot knocked down by Barnes. Morozov will play it in deep. Primo in behind the net. He's tied up there by Jason Woolley. Hasek out to play it. Primo taken down. It comes out in front, and Hasek had to poke it away. Now the Sabres get control, and Woolley will start up ice with a half-minute remaining in Gilmour's minor. And then the Sabres get an abbreviated power play. Hedberg out to touch the puck for the first time, and now Kovalev starts back. He's on with Lemieux now. Dangerous 4-on-4. Here's Lemieux, back to Kovalev, and Hasek with a great stop after Lemieux sprung Kovalev on the left side.
You have to stay in your lanes when Lemieux and Kovalev crisscross. And the Buffalo Sabres don't do it. And as soon as you don't do that, you're in huge trouble. And let's have a look at it. Here they come. Mario Lemieux is here. He'll go to the middle. And watch the Sabres. They're all going to go to Kovalev this way. 1, 2, 3 Sabres. Now they're chasing the puck. They're chasing Mario. And it goes right back to Kovalev. And that's exactly what you don't want to do. The Buffalo Sabres have to stay in their lane. Zitnik can't go way over. Now they're in trouble. And Hasek bails his team out with an excellent save.
Now Chris Stratton is out with Shatan. 10 seconds left in the Gilmour penalty. And Zitnik leads Buffalo out through center. He'll fire it in. Hedberg unable to stop it. Stratton taken to the board, but gets the puck back to the point. Now Buffalo on the power play, and the shot by Zitnik. No traffic though. And Hedberg saw it all the way. And Lindy Ruff told us, Greg, they want more point shots, but more traffic on the power play for Buffalo.
Well, that was a good save for Johan Hedberg because A lot of pressure's on this kid right now with all the attention and now the antlers all over the stands. And he wants to feel the puck and get into a groove. And certainly the Buffalo Sabres give him the opportunity to do so with a 60-footer with no traffic in front at all. And that it should be a routine save for any goaltenders. You look at the Antlers, had a nice talk with Randy Carlyle, the general manager and coach of the Manitoba Moose, and he said, yeah, we've been talking a lot with the Penguin management and had to find them their Antlers because we've used them all season up here in Winnipeg.
Sabres 1 for 12 on the power play in this series. Their only goal of the series, scored by Stu Barnes Saturday afternoon with the man advantage. Here's Zhitnik to Donald Audette. Can't get the shot off against Kasparaitis. Audette with it again, lost it, and Robert Lang will play it down the ice for Pittsburgh. Dying seconds of the shortened power play for the Sabres. Shot in by Rhett Warner. Comes around on the near side. Chatan couldn't come up with it, and Morozov rolls it back down the ice as Kevin Stevens returns to action. Primo with the steal. Stevens in front. Oh, how did Hasek stop that? As Primo fed Stevens coming out of the penalty box and left unguarded in front.
You get the feeling that Dominic Hasek might be in one of those moods tonight because this is a remarkable save. Primo does all the work. And Hasek's now out of his net. Now that doesn't help his defenseman much. He doesn't give him enough lead with the puck. And then Patrick just gets run down, and there is the save right in front as Stevens was wide open after Primo stripped Patrick of the puck. Hasek has to move that puck behind the net and let his defenseman skate into it. He doesn't do it. But what a save by Dominic Hasek. And you can't let this guy get hot earlier. You might be in trouble. Watch for it.
Wayne Primo, the center on this crash line for Pittsburgh. A former first-round pick of the Buffalo Sabres. Moved on to Tampa Bay and then acquired this year. Here's a shot off the face-off by Primo. Acquired in a deal for Matthew Barnaby. Now Curtis Brown starts back for the Sabres. That center, Verrata was slowed up but got it deep. Puck left behind the net. Verrata forechecking. But it's Laukkanen. Unable to get it out. Stopped by Brown. And now Laukkanen again. Off Primo's stick, kept in by Buffalo once again. Brown chips it behind the net. Here's Verrata. Hit by Primo. He lost his stick. Verrata maintains possession. Siplikov now behind the net. Trying to force it in front. Edberg got his stick on that. Good pressure here by Buffalo's checking line. Verrata tried to swing around and knock the net off its mooring. After a good shift by Brown, Verrata, and Siplikov.
Well, Yanni Laukkanen with a smart move as he camouflages taking the net off. He knew that his team was running around and in trouble. And that's a veteran move by Yanni Laukkanen, the defenseman. And let's have a look. There's Laukkanen. He gets pushed in by Verrata, and Verrata pushes him in. There's no doubt about it. But Yanni Laukkanen camouflages it a little bit more, and a big break for Pittsburgh because they were running all over the place on that shift.
Faceoff does come outside the line.
Yeah, that's the right call because Verrata did push Yanni Laukkanen in, but he just kept going. It's the right thing to do.
And again, Lemieux centering Verdina and Corbet. Mario has played on the left wing with Verdina at center. There's an offside call, but so far tonight it's the other way around. Verdina, the best faceoff man for Pittsburgh.
55.26% so far in the playoffs for Jan Hrdina. And he certainly is very good in that department, a solid defensive player, but also can chip in, as you can see, in the offensive department. But when you're playing with Mario Lemieux, all you have to do is give him the puck and then go to the net. You will get it back.
It would be interesting to see if Rennie Corbet can chip in. He's rarely had opportunities on top two lines in his stays in Colorado and Calgary. Corbet once scored 79 goals as a junior. Shot on Hedberg from well out. Handled easily. There's Marc Bergevin chopping it ahead. A key acquisition for Pittsburgh late in the year from St. Louis. And Andrew Ferentz chasing it back. J.P. Dumont there. And Ferentz got there first. And the play is called. 6.5 minutes into the opening period of Game 3. Face-off in the Buffalo zone, and Pittsburgh's big second line goes out for Ivan Holinka. Robert Lang, number 20, was 20th in NHL scoring this season. And his wingers were tied for 5th. Kovalev and Straka both with 95 points. So a lot of firepower here, although, as Kelly mentioned, Martin Straka has not been tearing it up yet, and really this line has not been at high gear yet. Here's a chance for Lang, and that one was knocked down in front, and Grattan comes away. The Sabres' best player in the opening round against Philadelphia. Shot it in, and Hines pounds it on Hedberg. Kept in by Zhitnik. And Lang is able to get it back outside the line. He picks it up now at center. An 80-point man pass on the right wing, cut off. Andrechuk to Grattan as Buffalo moves back in. Grattan picked off in the slot, and Straka will speed away with Kovalev. Here's a 2-on-1. Back it comes Johnson. Now Straka stopped by Hatchick as a 2-on-1 became a 3-on-1, and a chance for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Both teams gave the puck away in the neutral zone, and you see what happens when you do that. And the Buffalo Sabres almost were the team that got burnt by it.
Now Kovalev swooping back in, coming off a career year. In the slot, right in, and Stevens hits the goalpost. He was robbed earlier by Hatchick. Now off the post, it's a 2-on-1 the other way. Here's Gilmore, and Hedberg down, and he'll fall to make the save on the veteran Gilmore. Great action at both ends. First a post, and then a stop.
Terrific action at both ends. Now Stevens has been snake bit. Stevens so far in this game. He had an excellent chance on Hasek. Hasek made the save earlier in the period, and then he goes face to face after some very poor defensive zone coverage by the Buffalo Sabres. And Kovalev here finds Stevens coming late. 3 Sabres chase Kovalev, and boy, it goes right off the post. And then the Buffalo Sabres counter, because now Pittsburgh is caught rushing the other way as they jumped in. And how about Hedberg? As soon as Gilmore's head goes down, he comes out of his net right away and challenges Gilmore, and he has nothing to do with the puck except put it into Hedberg.
So he answers the fine play of Hasek early. Here's a shot by Zhitnik, knocked down. Morozov will speed down the left wing. Here's Morozov. Primo waiting for a pass. Stevens bumped into Hasek, who ends up in the back of the net in a collision with Woolley.
Hasek's at it again, trying to draw a penalty here.
He's lost his stick. Hasek in a little trouble here as Stevens goes after it. Kevin Stevens, a couple of great chances. Hasek gets the stick back. Primo crashing in on the forecheck. We've got the Penguins with 5 shots so far, but also 5 scoring chances in the opening 8 minutes of this game. There's a Finneganov shot. Didn't get through. Bob Bugner, the former Sault Ste. Marie Greyhound, plays it out to center. Verdina rolls it inside the line, and there is Schmelik giving it away. Schmelik just back in the lineup. First game since Game 5 against Philadelphia. A deep bone bruise on the ankle kept him out of the lineup. He's back with his old partner, Zhitnik. Pass missed the intended target, and it's an icing call against the Sabres. Second shy of the 9-minute mark in the opening period. Still scoreless in Game 3. Both teams have had glorious chances. And Lemieux and Brown get set to face off. Curtis Brown with the best face-off percentage in the opening round of the playoffs. Lemieux wins that. Corvée, quick shot right on. Hasek plays it to Gene Patrick. Ahead, Barada tied up by Andrew Ferentz, who's played so well in these playoffs. Now Herdina. Ford Corvée kicks it ahead. Shot deflected by Patrick into the seats.
Well, since we haven't seen too much of this series, we should recap it here a little bit. And of course, in game one, the Pittsburgh Penguins jumped up on the Buffalo Sabres. Lemieux was the big story. He scored the first goal of the game and an absolute blast by Dominik Hasek. Why don't we look at it? As he went off the bench, and I got to tell you, he got all of this, baby, right here, coming down off the bench on an incredible feed from Jaromir Jagr, and he just basically beats Dominik Hasek clean on that.
5 minutes into the series, and his teammates felt that he was sending a message that we can beat Hedberg or Hasek, and he did quickly. And then Hedberg took over.
Did he ever?
Here's Ziplikov trying to break in, twisting, and the puck rolled wide of the goal. He goes after it against Kasparaitis. Patrick had it hop over his stick. He's backed up by Žitnik, who's nailed. And play is called at center ice.
One thing about Hedberg, the Buffalo Sabres have been watching, he comes way out of his net. So tonight, Buffalo are going to try to pass by him or take one step wide. Well, this is a good shot. Stop it there, boys. Whoa. Now look at all the room. If the forward just takes one step this way, he'll have room there, or he'll look for the pass and there'll be a wide open net. And that is what Buffalo are going to try to do against this hot rookie goaltender tonight.
Hedberg 13-3-1 since being acquired in a deal for Jeff Norton at the trade deadline from San Jose. Told by Randy Hillier they've been watching San Jose's young goaltenders for a couple of years. They tried to get Kiprusoff, unsuccessful. Settled for Hedberg and worked out. Here's Kalinin battling with Straka. And Kalinin pushes it ahead. The rookie defenseman starts to play, and now Dumont into Pittsburgh territory, working against Janssen in behind the net, knocked off his stick. Here's a shot from a bad angle with Barnes in front. He can't find it. And Lang will recover for Pittsburgh. Robert Lang to his own line. Now he'll send it ahead. Dmitry Kalinin fires it back in for the Sabres. Dumont out with Audette. Now Schmelik over the boards. Pass to Chris Gratton. He's stopped by Janssen. Penguins couldn't attack, and Gratton has some room to move in and fire right on. And another puck hitting the logo of Hedberg. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue. Shots are even at 6 apiece. 9:08 to play in the opening period of Game 3. Chris Gratton, the native of Brantford, Ontario, gets set to duel with Wayne Primo on this face-off in the Pittsburgh zone. Gratton, Andrechuk, and Hines as Lindy Ruff shuffles the deck for this game.
Well, Primo was trying to cheat on the draw, and he didn't get away with it. So the linesman kicked him out. As the angle he was trying there just wasn't to the referee's satisfaction. And now Stevens is going to do the same thing.
Sabres have had a big edge in this series in face-offs. They win another, and now we've got a penalty. Holding the stick is the call, I believe. And Rob Schick is going to penalize the Sabres.
Prince George Scratchy Cougar Claws, $11. Big Bad Berry Bullhorn, $58. Halifax Super Moose Man Soup, $92. Being a Major League fan of a Junior League team, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Proud sponsor and big fan of the Canadian Hockey League.
Well, Steve Hines right at the face-off circle got caught for holding the stick. It was Primo's stick, I believe, right here. Let's watch. Yep, he gets it under his arm and pulls it right out of Primo's body. The stick.
So, second power play on the night for the Penguins. First power play lasted only 47 seconds. Hard to believe Pittsburgh is in control of this series in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs without their power play really clicking yet, Greg, with all the weapons they have.
Of course, they're missing one big one at the moment.
Absolutely. Giveaway there, and Curtis Brown will roll it back down the ice. Lager again, the injury is a shoulder problem. He skated this morning, did not shoot the puck. And may be ready for game 4.
Maybe not.
And that has been a bit of a soap opera here in Pittsburgh. Here's Ferentz who starts them back in. Ashik tried to stop it up. There's Lang on the far side, battling with Brett Warner in front, over the stick of Lemieux. Back to Janssen. 50 seconds left in a power play that now is starting to look dangerous. Cross-ice pass to Lemieux. He swings back to Straka. Rich shot right on. Rebound, and Lang couldn't reach it against Brett Warner. A chance on the rebound, and Warner did the job.
A real good defensive play by Warner because he took the stick first and then took his man out afterwards.
Under a half minute left. Neat move by Kovalev as he crossed center ice. Fired it in. James Patrick up the boards. Straka holds the line for the Penguins. Takes the drop pass. Moves in. Takes a look. Centers, and Lang there at the side of the net. Back out for Kovalev. Seconds ticking down on this power play. Lemieux in front through the crease. Back to Kovalev. Here's the shot off the goal post. The second post of this opening period. As Hines returns, Kovalev rings one up, but we're still scoreless. Laukkanen back to get the icing call with 6:52 to go. And Pittsburgh comes close.
You know, Pittsburgh caught a couple of breaks in Game 2 in Buffalo, particularly the goal by Andrew Ferentz, the second one of the hockey game. You wonder if the tide's changing in that department here, as the second goal post of the game there just hits the inside of the post and goes out the other side. As Kovalev clearly had Dominik Hasek beat. Hasek at times will go off the short side. You can see there he didn't see the puck until it was past him.
Well, we know this man has a rocket. 44 goals on the year. Lindy Ruff mentioned what you were alluding to, Greg. The Sabres haven't had any bounces yet in this series. A couple of bounces off the post might turn the tide a bit.
It'll be interesting to see here how the Buffalo Sabres react to this first period of play, if they can get out of the period all even at 0. Because you know that Lindy Ruff wanted to weather the storm against a very enthusiastic Pittsburgh crowd. In saying that, however, the Pittsburgh Penguins are playing the kind of game that they wanted to play. That's a very patient, defensive style of game. They think that they can, once they get their chances, they will be able to outscore the Buffalo Sabres. And so far, that's become the truth.
Well, it seems like Pittsburgh wants to play a road game here at home. The last 5 road games, they've allowed 1 goal or less in their last 2 home games. They had allowed 7 goals, and there was that feeling they were trying to run and gun and show off a little bit for the fans. But they're back to that defensive style here in the opening period of Game 3. Not that they haven't had their chances. Here's Kevin Stevens, who's had a couple of great opportunities in this first period. They're checking against Schmelik. Now Morozov moved up, but the Sabres are away, and Gilmore's at center. Veteran Gilmore getting a change and flipping it right down on Hedberg. Bob Bugner moves up the ice, pushed it past Andrechuk. Christoph Oliva is out there now with former Oiler Dan Lacouture wearing number 22. This might be the first shift for the 4th line for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Lacouture in his second game of these playoffs, he told us he just sat on the bench for the first game early in the Washington series. Now Buffalo moves in. There's Andrechuk. Hines going after it, and a shot. And Hedberg got a piece of it. Back to the point. Here's a shot right on, and Hedberg pouncing on the rebound to hold it after the point shot by Kalinin. They still haven't found a way to beat Johan Hedberg.
last goal-mouth scramble, Johan Hedberg went to cover the puck up with his glove through traffic. He does that successfully, but Grattan steps right on his hand afterwards. And you can see that he was favoring it during the commercial break. He's back, and he looks okay now. We had a good look at him. He was favoring that glove hand a little bit.
Stu Barnes now at center against Herdina in the Pittsburgh zone. Donald Audette on the right side, another player the Sabres are looking to for offense after scoring 34 during the regular season. Audette tries to get it in deep. There's Lemieux back in his own zone, ringing the boards. Cut off by Dumont, threw it in front. Back to the point. Warner tried to set up Dumont, who throws it across. And where'd that puck end up? In the glove of Hedberg as we join Scott Russell.
Right, Chris. Well, Eric Rasmussen set up Jay McKee for the overtime winner game 2 against Philadelphia. Nursing a shoulder injury, doesn't know when he'll be able to play. But tell me this, you grew up watching Mario Lemieux play, and now you get a chance to play against him this season. What'd you think?
Unbelievable. I guess people say he was even better before he retired and before he came back, so I can't imagine that.
Are you surprised at all how responsible defensively he and the Penguins are?
No, I think, when a guy like that leads by example and goes out and does it himself, I mean, we've shown video clips of him coming back, being the first guy back all the time, back checking harder than we're coming in the zone, so it's no surprise to us.
Good luck to you, Eric. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks.
Penalty coming up against Buffalo as Corbeil tried to speed away and was hooked by Alexei Zhitnik. And it's Zhitnik heading off.
Shop online from the convenience of your own home, and you can get Canadian Tire money too. It pays to shop online. CanadianTire.ca.
Right off the face-off, Doug Gilmour wins the draw. Zhitnik's in the penalty box for hooking because of what happened afterwards. Gilmour wins it right back, but Corbeil gets out in a hurry. And there's Zhitnik holding on to Corbeil, who might have been gone if he didn't do that.
Third power play of the opening period for the Penguins, who have not registered a shot with the man advantage on their first 2 of the game. Barretts and Straka back with Lang, Kovalev, and Lemieux up front. Curtis Brown out to kill the penalty, along with Verrata. Alec and Patrick on defense as Ferentz sends it in. Hasek stops it up. Patrick rifles it off the glass and back into the Pittsburgh zone. Straka headmans to Lang, who had 8 points in the regular season against Buffalo, more than any other player in the National Hockey League this season. And offside slows things up 27 seconds into the Pittsburgh power play.
And one area that the Buffalo Sabres have been very successful so far in this game is winning draws, but give Pittsburgh credit because they're jumping out through the traffic. And even though Buffalo are winning the draws, they're not getting shots on goal. And let's have a look here. Here's the draw. Gilmour wins it right back. But Rennie Corbeil somehow here will go right through. There. Block the shot, and then he's away. And that's what draws the penalty there to Zhitnik.
Now Barnes and Chatan come out as penalty killers for the Sabres. Andrew Ferentz, native of Edmonton, over the red line, fires it in. Hasek waved at it. Patrick comes up with it. Up the boards. Ferentz trying to keep it in. It went by Ferentz and Barnes, and back goes Straka to regroup. Not much doing in the opening minute of this third Pittsburgh power play of the opening period. Straka to the line. Can't barge through, and Chatan will turn them back again.
Buffalo's done a nice job on their penalty kill of lining up right across their blue line, forcing Pittsburgh to shoot it in. And when Pittsburgh does shoot it in, they're gaining possession of the puck.
Straka by one man, now a left wing feed. Stevens after it against Warner. Gets it back to the point. Straka. Now to Kovalev. In behind the net, Lemieux. Sizes it up. Back out. Straka fired, and that was blocked. Brown got in front of that. Johnson plays it deep. Hasek tips it past Lemieux. Brown and Kovalev along the boards, and Warner sends it back, and that should do it with a dozen seconds remaining on the power play. And still no power play shots for Pittsburgh. Now Morozov over the line. The penalized player is back. Sabres sent it around. Zhitnik took down Buchner. And the puck rolls down into the Penguin zone. Gilmore in pursuit of the puck. Laukkanen tries to pull away. Primo got to the red line, sends it in. There's Schmelik with Hrdina tailgating him. Gilmore bumps Primo. Scrum along the boards. Gilmore waiting for that puck to come loose. Schmelik tying up his man. But the Penguins still have control. Good board work by Hrdina. And now he loses it. Shatan is off. Shatan trying to get it to Schmelik, who checked up. Now Shatan again. A shot wide. Gilmore after it in the Pittsburgh zone. Tried to slide it through. Broke it up. And rolled out by Primo. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first period. Pittsburgh makes changes. Pass for Gilmore, and he couldn't get loose in the Penguin zone. Here's a fine pass ahead to Straka. Back into the Sabres zone. Couldn't hook up with Lang. Straka's got it back again. Kovalev running a pick. Straka shot. Loose in front. Hasek made the save. Johnson fired it. And that hit the traffic in front. Now Kovalev. As the Penguins have Buffalo on their heels. A shot. Hasek got part of that. Straka now again behind the net. Left it for Kovalev. Shatan. Up the boards. Johnson sends it right back in behind the goal. Now Shatan. Somebody's lost a glove, and the puck is played over the glass to relieve pressure in the Buffalo zone. Well, coming up in our first intermission, we'll have the insights of Kelly Rudy behind the mask, along with Ron McLean.
Some real good pressure by the Pittsburgh Penguins on their last shift, as both goaltenders have been somewhat busy. Obviously, Dominik Hasek has had more chances to score against them, even though the shot clock doesn't show that. 2 posts by the Penguins, and when Pittsburgh gets pressure down low against Buffalo, boy oh boy, they're giving Buffalo all kinds of problems in their own zone. And Straka works the puck, and here's a nice pick by Kovalev going right to the net. And somehow that puck didn't get through the wall of bodies in front of Dominik Hasek.
So that Straka line has looked more dangerous tonight. Lemieux from the face-off. Now with Stevens and Corbeil. 66 seconds to go in the period. 66 looking for a late goal. And a shot from an angle. Hasek had a beat on that. Now into the final minute, Dumont with a break. Here's J.P. Dumont. Stopped by Hedberg as the Moose makes another save in the final minute of this first period.
I will tell you one thing for sure. Hedberg is a terrific skater, because there is no way you can challenge the way Hedberg does unless you're a good skater, because you better be able to back up in a hurry. And here goes Hedberg. He's well out of his net. But watch how quickly he backs up. In perfect position on Dumont. Right back into the paint. And for all young goaltenders, skating is so important. There's another chance here. Corbeil strips Sabres the puck, and Mario Lemieux had a late chance here as well in the last minute of this period.
You know, you mentioned how aggressive Hedberg is, and it's similar to Nabokov, another San Jose goaltender. You wonder if that's something that's part of that system.
There's no question he has to be a terrific skater the way he moves in the net.
Stratton on this face-off, 50.3 seconds remaining in the first period. Stratton pulls it back. Here's Zhitnik. Went quickly on him was Corbeil. Lemieux along the boards, couldn't get it out. And now it's Primo. Up to 66, and Lemieux into the Buffalo zone. Tried to hook up with Primo. And Andrechuk stopped that. Under a half minute left. Corbeil again with it in the Sabres zone, played it in behind the goal.
And Zhitnik had Mario Lemieux in his railway tracks there coming across. Lemieux saw him at the last minute.
Here's Andrechuk lofting a backhand to Hedberg, and it's interesting you mentioned that. He got caught in the trolley tracks in Game 2, and there was a lot of debate. Was it an elbow or not? And Zhitnik said, you know, it was my own fault for having my head down in that territory.
That's right. He said it was a good thing it wasn't Scott Stevens. It might have been worse. So Zhitnik obviously realizes that he shouldn't have been in that position, and he was certainly looking for Mario Lemieux here, though. And Lemieux's pretty smart. He knew he was coming and danced out of the way just in time.
11.8 seconds remaining. And another face-off in the Pittsburgh zone to the right of Hedberg. Barnes will take this draw against Lang. With Kalinin and Warner poised at the points. And there has been a lot of posturing on these face-offs. Another win by the Sabres. And Pittsburgh gets the puck back again and shovels it out. And that should do it. Race for it. Warner gets to it as the horn goes to end the opening period. Well, Hedberg and Hasek were tested. Shots were 9-8 in favor of the Sabres, but after 20 minutes of Game 3, we're scoreless.
Buffalo's had 56 shots in the series, 1 goal. They've got to figure out a way. It's 0-0 after 1 at the Igloo. Welcome back to Studio 43. Kelly Rudy and Behind the Mask. And Kelly, both goaltenders perfect in that first period. And Buffalo Sabres did have a great chance by Dougie Gilmour, but aside from that, it's been tough sledding.
Yeah, but you said it. They're not scoring because they're not getting the traffic. And that's why I know Hedberg's a great goaltender. And against Washington, he did have the traffic, but he did let in more goals in that series because there's more clutter in front of his net.
On that, was it Zhitnik with the one shot? It was so wide open, it was unbelievable. And
yeah.
It was,
I could have been good then.
Well, we're going to get into the number 1 in a little bit, but I was thinking Archer Zerbe wears number 1 now and used to wear number 32. I don't know if that's a message. All right, let's show the clutter in the neutral zone that's causing Buffalo some grief.
Yeah, and they talked about this. So we're going to see Zhitnik just move the puck up to Barnes right here, and then Barnes is going to give it right back, and then Zhitnik up to Dumont, and then we're going to see the problems for the Sabres. If you don't want to get the puck deep, here's that new system that the Penguins are playing. Look how cluttered up that neutral zone is. Now, Dumont doesn't want to get the puck deep, and then they don't enter the zone, and Pittsburgh comes back. But that's what they're going to have to do, and Lindy Ruff talked about it. It's just a matter of changing ideas, and guys have to get used to doing that.
Well, it was an exceptional play by Chris Gratton here that leads the way to their second best scoring chance of the period.
Yeah, and he does this exact thing. So here's Gratton on the draw. He's going to win it back. Unfortunately, though, for the Sabres, Pittsburgh's still going to get a great chance, and then Gratton's going to use his great speed, pick up the rebound, and go down the ice. So I like this, using his speed, fighting hard, and the great thing is here, he doesn't throw it over here to Hines because that's a dangerous play. He recognizes he has no other play, so he's going to make a good dump off the end boards, and look who's going to get that puck. It's Hines again for the second best chance that the Sabres have, and that's doing the exact same thing that Lindy Ruff wanted them to do.
We were watching Roman Turek last night, and you were saying you got to have a lot of confidence to wear sweater number 1, and Hedberg's wearing sweater number 1 like Urbe, the only 3 goalies in the playoffs.
Yeah, I always wondered why, guys. Boy, you better be pretty brave if you wear that number 1, because those are the guys I grew up watching, all the guys, the great ones that had number 1. That's why I chose number 30 and 32.
Yeah, it was old hat, though, then. You either took 30 or 1, right? You didn't.
I don't even think you had a choice.
Yeah.
You just walked in the locker room, they gave you the jersey.
Hasek used to wear 9, all of his minor league and when he was playing in the Czech Elite League, but when he got here, he couldn't get 9, so he wears 39, and he was sharp here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Okay, but the guy to watch originally is Mario Lemieux, and we know that first the puck's going to go back to the point. We know that Mario likes to come back in those situations right over here and look for loose pucks. So the Penguins keep the puck in, they throw it behind, but watch Hasek on this play. He knows he's too late to get it and throw it back around, so all he's going to do is use his stick to chip the puck up in the air about 3 feet. And now Lemieux can't get that puck. I'm sure he was licking his chops at first thinking, oh, what a chance, I'm going to be back there and throw it out front with my backhand.
What a play. And now, violence. There's a lot of talk about it in hockey. It was a hard-hitting affair, but you picked out one hit from that first period that you really enjoyed.
Yeah, Scott Russell's going to take a big beating here. So here it is. Russell's doing his pregame hit. And right in this spot here, Robbie Schick's going to give him a gentle little nudge. Then the other referee, Mark Fawcett, a big one, but it's not over. So Scott thinks that's pretty funny. He's eventually going to have to move over again because the goal judge is going to come in here and move him off to the side again. I love that look.
Talk about focus.
Oh, that's funny.
You guys will have to have a referee on After Hours next year.
Yeah.
Scott Russell's a lot like Jaromir Jagr. Sore shoulder. Charlie Horse, he's listed as probable for Game 4 Wednesday night. Shots were 9-8 Buffalo. It's 0-0 after 20 minutes. So all that Scott Russell, he's tough. A quick healer. Let's go down to the Igloo now. Scott's joined by Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux leads the playoffs in scoring. The team leads the series 2-0, but there's a ringing in my ears from all those posts you had in the first period. How did you find it, though, in terms of the play?
Well, I thought we came out, we were ready to play right from the start. We know that they're a desperate team right now, and they're going to play hard tonight. This is a big game for both teams, so I think we hit 3 or 4 posts, and we just got to keep plugging and play well defensively, and we'll get our chances.
Interesting atmosphere with all the antlers and so on, and a pressure-filled situation for a young goalie in Hedberg. How do you think he's dealt with the whole thing, Mario?
He's been great since he got here, really. He's got a lot of poise, and he's a great young goalie that's got a lot of confidence right now the way he's playing, and we just got to play a little bit better in front of him and give him the outside shot, and he'll make the stops for us.
Mario, thanks and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Up to the minute. Brought to you by Ford F-Series. Built Ford tough.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Staples Center in Los Angeles. I'm Steve Armitage. We're a couple of hours away from Game 3 in the series between the Kings and the Avalanche. For many hockey fans in L.A., this is a bonus, this game, this series. They were the prohibitive underdogs against Detroit. They got by that 4-2, and they're tied with the Avs at 1 game apiece. But the big story tonight will be the return of veteran defenseman Rob Blake for the first time as a member of the Avalanche against his old team, the Kings. It'll be interesting to see how Blake holds up under the pressure, and perhaps even more interesting to see how the L.A. Kings treat their former captain. Rob Blake back with the Avs against the Kings. It's Game 3, and you'll see it on Hockey Night in Canada from L.A. Ron?
Right, Steve. The gist of that is, for viewers Saskatchewan West, the game fully. For those of us watching Pittsburgh and Buffalo right now, we'll have a news update for 1 hour following this game, and then go, as you say, to the West Coast. And tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, Matt Sundin and the Leafs host New Jersey. More on that story and the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs as we continue on Hockey Night in Canada.
Up to the minute. Brought to you by Ford F-Series. Built Ford tough.
Excellent game in Pittsburgh. Buffalo needs this one badly, trailing 2-0 in the series. Well, you could have seen and felt the city of Toronto shake on Saturday night when Steve Thomas scored late to tie it, but the Devils did win. Toronto practiced today, and Scott Oake was there.
I guess the positive, if you want to look at that way, is we were able to get some goals to get back in it, but we didn't win the game, and that's the bottom line.
It's been 2 days since the near-miracle comeback, one keyed by Matt Sundin, who's raised his game several levels, although he remains loath to talk about himself.
We're off to a good start in the playoffs, I think, no matter how that Game 2 ended. I mean, we can't forget we're playing the Stanley Cup champions, and we had a bad second period, and it pretty much cost us the game the way it ended up. And if we can play the way we did in the first game and in the first and in the third period in that second game, I think we have a great chance to beat the Devils.
If Sundin won't, his teammates will talk about him, eager to make the point their captain is a true leader.
Matt has played extremely well ever since I've been here, for sure. And you know, he always seems to, you know, there's critics for everybody, and he always seems to answer the critics. And in this hockey environment, there's going to be lots of them.
The environment is good now, but it wasn't during the subpar regular season, for which Sundin bore the brunt of criticism.
My effort and my passion and the way I'm trying to play hockey has always been the same. I don't think that has changed anything compared to the past couple of years.
He's playing like he's on a mission. He's getting the breaks. He's getting bounces that are going his way. And maybe that didn't happen so much last year. But more than anything, he's creating his good breaks and that sort of thing. And I think that might be the difference.
In the playoffs, criticism has given way to high praise. Although Sundin would be entitled to revel in it, he isn't.
For your own sake and to make sure that you're ready to play the next game and be at the best you can, I think you need to be level-headed. And sometimes when you get great criticism, you want to make sure that you keep your feet on the ground and prepare for the next game. And sometimes when you get some heat and you're getting bad criticism, you want to make sure you keep upbeat and don't get down on yourself. So I think that's very important if you're going to be able to play in a city like Toronto.
We'll be at the Air Canada Centre tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern. There's the scene at the Igloo. Johan Hedberg and the many fans on hand helping Mario Lemieux with this problem there, the high overhead. 0-0 Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Second period action with Chris Cuthbert and Greg Millen on Hockey Night in Canada next.
This portion of Hockey Night in Canada brought to you by Ford. The Expect More event on now at your local Ford dealers.
Don Lever of the Buffalo Sabres. You get Zhitnik and Schmelik into the lineup tonight. Have you noticed a difference already, Don?
Well, we got a few breaks early in the game, but they kind of settled it down for us. Zhitnik and Schmelik both with that experience, so it definitely helps.
What about all the traffic in the neutral zone and what Pittsburgh's doing defensively? How can you counter that?
Well, you know, it seems to back to what it was 4 or 5 years ago. If they're going to allow it, you have to fight through it.
Thanks, Don. Good luck.
You're welcome.
Standing room only crowd in Pittsburgh. Watch these two teams play to a scoreless opening 20 minutes. And although it is tight checking and not a lot of room at center ice, right, there were a number of great scoring chances in that opening period.
And a couple of big opportunities for Pittsburgh. They were all alone on Dominik Hasek. Just didn't score.
A lot of people who watched this series from the outset thought that might have been as freewheeling as this series has been in the opening 20 minutes. And we got a penalty coming up to Pittsburgh as Václav Barada was taken down.
Well, Pittsburgh didn't get the puck in deep at the offensive blue line, and the Buffalo Sabres were off and away on a counterattack. And Barada had the puck. And Rennie Corbet, all he could do. There's the giveaway by Hrdina. Now away goes Barada. And Hrdina knocks him into the boards. Now Corbet's in the penalty box, but I'm not so sure he should be. But oh, wait now. If it's a slash, perhaps he did it just before. I thought it was the interference when he was off and away.
Well, Buffalo gets its second power play of the night. 1 for 13 in the series. Gilmore sending it in to Finneganov on the far side. Couldn't control. And it sent out to center. When you hit the linesman with that, and then it ricocheted into the bench, and they stopped play. 16 seconds into the power play.
And when you had Mario Lemieux, I can remember this all so well, killing penalties. You're just so fearful that he's just going to take off the other way. And he'll float around the neutral zone sometimes, and all of a sudden you look up, and Mario Lemieux's on a breakaway shorthanded. It used to scare the daylights out of me as a goaltender, watching him float up through the neutral zone, even though your team was on the power play.
Lemieux up front with Primo as the puck fired down the ice on Hasek, and Zhitnik will start things out. Jason Woolley, also a point man for the Sabres. It's Gilmore with Andreychuk and a Finneganov up front. Dave Andreychuk, the all-time leading Buffalo scorer in power play goals. Andreychuk plays it back to his old partner. Now in front, Gilmore shot, and Hedberg, a glove stop off of Finneganov.
What a scrambled save, and a good one by your Hedberg as he was down and out. The real key to this play was the work in front by Dave Andreychuk. He had quite a battle going on here with Janssen, right in front of the net. And the Sabres moving along well. Now Hedberg looking through traffic, looking, and a Finneganov will set up the one-timer. Now there's the anticipation by Hedberg, but somehow He bounces up off his feet and jumps back. Let's see how he does it. This is all weight distribution here, and because he stops with his right foot, he's able to dig into the ice and leap back and make an incredible glove save.
So the kid remains cool. Andrew Chuck on this face-off, and Pittsburgh wins it and sends the Sabres back. Minute gone in the Corbeil penalty. Zitnik up ice. To the Penguin line, burst through. Now Gilmore. Andrew Chuck takes a bump from Laukkanen to Finneganov. Looking for the loose puck in support. Comes back to Woolley. Now Andrew Chuck. 572 regular season goals. Finneganov tried to be a little too clever that time. And the puck back outside the line as Woolley had moved up.
He had a good chance to score there, and he didn't shoot it. He should have.
On the tape ahead to Audette. 22 seconds remaining in the Sabre power play.
When you see a forward do that, all of a sudden you have to think that they're now starting to think they can't beat this kid Hedberg.
Here's a pass in front of Hedberg with another great stop off Chatan, and maybe they can't.
Exactly.
One more chance of the power play. Audette right on. Alina moves up. There's heavy traffic. The net off again, and that will stop play. And Audette shows his frustration. Upset. He thought he had something going, but play stopped because the net was knocked off.
And Hedberg, his lateral movement, we saw it on the Finneganov save, and we're going to see it again here on the next one. And a terrific pass, stick to stick. And there's the push, and Hedberg just slides down and absolutely robs the Finneganov from the side of the net. And another look, pardon me, Chatan checked that. And what a lovely save, and just a quick reaction to get from one side of the other, one side of the net to the other for Hedberg.
7 wins during the regular season when he came over in the deal, looking for his 7th playoff win here tonight. 3 shots for the Sabres on that last power play. And we remain scoreless. The kid unfazed as he looks down the ice to the other end and sees the dominant goaltender of the last decade, Dominic Hasek, at the other end. They're trading saves and a cross-crease pass. Siplikov on the far side now, trying to spin off Primo. And now Primo feeds it ahead to Morozov. Gets it out to center. Bergevin in pursuit. As he took off from his defensive position, went for a skate. Now Andrew Barrett's back behind his net to regroup for Pittsburgh. Primo. Up on the right wing, Morozov couldn't get it out of his skates. Warner without his regular partner, Jay McKee. Here's a pass for Dumont, weak shot wide. Barnes behind the net. Taken off the puck by Ferentz. And Stevens backhands it past Zitnik and down the ice. Here's Dumont. Really went into a scoring funk late in the year. And ended a 17-goal drought with 2 in the 8-0 win to clinch the Philadelphia series. Lemieux back to the attack. He's stopped. Verdina after the loose puck. Plays it in behind the net. Zitnik stuck with Lemieux, who centered. And Barnes was there for the Sabres. Got past Corbeil. Patrick sends it deep. Hedberg out to play it. Dumont knocks it down. It comes out in front. And the Penguins there to collect the puck. Here's Corbeil to Lemieux. Looks across ice. And it's called on a... I think too many men on the ice. We're getting a call from the linesman.
Mario Lemieux hasn't done much in this game so far, but you know he is ever so dangerous. He can just hit you when you least expect it. And obviously, once again, doing his thing in this playoff run.
Not too many men on the ice, but an illegal substitution called, and they will have the face-off at center. Richard for the Sabres. Up on the right side, pass to Finneganov. There's Gilmore going after it. He's taken down by Lang. And looks for a penalty that it was not called. There's a Finneganov out of the corner. In front, Shatan, and that deflects off a stick and into the stands.
Now, as I mentioned in the first period, I talked with Randy Carlisle, who is the general manager and coach of the Manitoba Moose. And he said to me he loved this kid because he was so competitive and had such a tremendous attitude. You talk about his attitude. Well, the first game that he played, he won in Florida for the Pittsburgh Penguins when he was called up. The next game, he played a very poor game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. He stood up in the room after the game and said, "That was my fault, guys." And from that day on, he won over his teammates here in Pittsburgh.
He's only lost 2 since. Rolled down the ice, and Straka speeds after it. That forces Hasek out. Woolley around the boards. Kovalev there for the Penguins. Cross-ice pass hit a Finneganov, and he speeds away. Backs a Finneganov. Back in, Shatan. Stopped by Hedberg. Gilmore in behind the net. Throws it in front. Penguins there, and they'll break out. Martin Straka counters. He leaves it for Kovalev over the line. Shatan picked his pocket. And now we've got a slashing penalty coming up, and it's going against Buffalo.
So Woolley in the penalty box for slashing. The Pittsburgh Penguins have done nothing on their power play. They're 0 for 3. They had no shots on their last power play, and they haven't had a shot yet in this hockey game on the power play.
5th best power play during the regular season, but again, 68 was usually out. There's a shot, score! A tip in front! Kevin Stevens got his stick on it.
Get it back to the point. Well, this draws an awkward position for Buffalo, and Pittsburgh Penguins win the scrum. Get it back to the point, and here goes Stevens right in the slot. Here, now he'll wait there. The puck will go back again. D&E quick, and sometimes the ugliest goal is the best one on power play. Nobody takes Stevens. He's wide open in front of the net, and he tips this puck past. A real smart shot by Andrew Ferentz on the point. And Hasek with no chance whatsoever.
Kevin Stevens has his 3rd of the playoffs, and finally a power play goal for the Penguins. And remember, they're 6-0 in these playoffs when scoring first. Ferentz and Laukkanen draw assists on the goal at 5:34. Ferentz has his 6th point of the playoffs. He has been terrific at both ends of the ice. So the pressure mounts for the Sabres. Here's a break for Rene Corbeil, who turned back and swung it wide at the end of a shift after Lemieux had sprung him. Curtis Brown dumps it in. Kasparaitis with a hit as he upended Kalinin, and he'll go off. So a power play goal by Stevens. Buffalo gets a chance. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Labatt Blue.
Always a tough thing to take a penalty after you've just scored a goal. Now Kasparaitis gets caught here tripping up Kalinin now. And there was no puck in sight, and that's why he's in the penalty box for interference.
Sabres need to answer back. Andreychuk to take the face-off. 2 big men, Primo and Andreychuk, comes back to the point. There's a Finneganov, and a hit Bergevin off his ankle. He flexes it a bit as the puck ends up at center. Now Andreychuk tries to beat Bergevin, moves in, and a ricochet into the glove of Hedberg.
You know that Hedberg's focus right now is right on the mark. He's in his zone. because he's picking up redirected pucks right in front of him. And that's what he did on this last rush. Andrechuk beats his man here, Mark Bergevin. And he's through, and he tries to center, and there's the redirect. And again, even though Hedberg is down and out, he keeps his eye on the puck and hauls it down with his glove.
Now along the boards and back to Zhitnik. Finnegan falls, gets it in deep. Andrechuk after it. Ference played it high, it bounces down, and a big collision there as Woolley was knocked down. Lemieux picks up the loose puck, and he fires it down. 7 minutes into the second period. 1-0 Pittsburgh, a power play goal by Stevens. And now Buffalo with the man advantage, trying to bounce back 50 seconds into this power play. Playing with a swing and a miss. And it's kept in. Gilmore. A Finnegan on. Andrechuk, he's hooked. And the Penguins away with it. Sabres looking for another penalty and didn't get it. Shots in the period, 5-1 Buffalo. The one shot went in.
Sabres very frustrated at the moment. They're forcing plays and not making easy shootings. Look out here.
Chance for Audette. Sprawling play. Grattan follows. Blocked by Straka. Dangerous play there. Now Audette in front. Straka trying to tie up his man. And Hedberg sprawls and bounces on the loose puck again.
Another good chance to score off a broken play for Buffalo, but their flow just isn't there offensively, and when they do get a chance, do they ever do a nice job, Pittsburgh, of covering in front of the net? And a nice sliding block there, and then watch how they collapse. That's Ference once again, and then another chance right through the middle. And Ference with that lovely play breaks it up. But here is the end result. Chatan in front. And he is left wide open. But again, Straka comes all the way back to make a nice defensive play. 3 Penguins in front.
And Patrick fires. Traffic in front. Puck didn't get through. And now the Penguins break up. Kovalev with Lumpkin jumping into the rush. Back to Kovalev, who deflects it wide. 10 seconds left in the power play. Grattan missed the pass. And Pittsburgh regains possession at center and sends them back one last time. And Darius Kasparaitis is back on the ice. Kalinin break wide. There's Audette. Cruising down the right flank. Drops. Grattan in front. And the tip went wide as again Chatan left alone in front. That Warner gets the puck in front of the net. And Grattan unable to be set up. And Stevens sends it down the ice out of the reach of Kovalev. Here's a giveaway. Primo. Kovalev. And that shot off Brett Warner high into the air. Play by the Sabres nearly cost them. Now Steve Hines pulls it down and gets control. Fired from Columbus at the trade deadline. Hines moves in. 5 goals in his first 4 games, but has struggled offensively since. Kasparaitis worked him over. Barnes after it now. He's bounced by Janssen, but Stu Barnes stays on it. And Steve Hines has been hurt, and Hines now heading off. Up with the puck comes Primo, and he'll dump it down the ice. Steve Hines has gone to the Sabres bench, and now play is stopped, and we're going to get a couple of penalties, I believe, with 10:26 to go in the second period.
It looks like coincidental minors to Laukkanen and Dumont. And there's the cut by Hines as he goes off to get some repairs. And there was no penalty on the call. Doug Gilmore at the moment is over the officials giving it to them. And it happened in a scrum behind the net. Here goes Hines with Kasparaitis. And that's where it happened. I am not yet there. And does the stick come up at all afterwards? They keep going. And there is the stick that comes up as Kasparaitis clips Hines. It wasn't the initial hit. It was afterwards. You can see Hines is going off with a pretty nasty cut.
Gilmore showed his frustration. A long debate in front of the penalty box to no avail. Laukkanen and Dumont go off for slashing at 9:34. So 4-on-4. And Lemieux and Herdina will work against Brown and Barada.
This is where Mario's patience with the puck is so incredible when he has a little more ice to work with. He'll hang on to it, and wait for a late man coming in.
Lemieux with a 5-game point streak. And 10 points in these playoffs. He's a +8. Sabres have been scored upon twice in 4-on-4 situations in these playoffs. Mark Bergevin into the zone, but a little anxious on the right side was Herdina offside.
And I'll show you this Kasparedes stick again. We have a better angle of it here. Just to the right of your screen. There's the stick, and up it goes, and his blade catches him. Just when he's trying to pull a stick out. An accidental high stick by Kasparedes. Nevertheless, the official probably was behind the play and wasn't in a proper position to see it. Now, for the back official, that's a tough call in a tight scrum like that because it's a long way away from him.
Second shy of the midway mark of this second period in Game 3. Andrew Ferentz fires it down the ice. Now a Finnegan off of Gilmore. Out to attack. Lemieux stayed out with Kovalev now. He comes in front, and Hasek gets on it with Kovalev lurking at the top of the goal crease.
Dan Quinn played 270 regular season games with the Pens, 276 points, a point a game in the playoffs. What do you think of this addition to the Pens, Dan?
Well, this is a team that's got a chance, I think, with this goaltender coming on at the end of the year. Obviously, with Mario and hopefully Jagger get back. But so many players are playing well. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
I know you're a good friend of Mario, have been for a long time. Is he so much more committed this time around to getting this done?
Well, he's not playing golf on the off days like he used to when they were winning the Cups years before, and he's very committed. He's playing for a lot of the right reasons. Having sat upstairs watching his team for the last year and a half when he owned the team, so it's been a lot of fun to watch him come back and play with the enthusiasm he's shown.
So committed defensively.
Just to winning. He's not. If he gets no points for 3 straight games and they win all 3, he's not going to bother him. When he was 24 or 5 years old, that might have bothered him a little bit. If they win, he's happy.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Good luck.
Thank you.
Here's a break for Barnes in. Hedberg down again. Stopping Stu Barnes.
Hedberg's reads right now are incredible. And he's doing it by waiting for the forward to have his head down. And as soon as his head is down, boom, he comes out. Here comes Barnes. Head is down, looking for the puck. Here it goes down. And Hedberg knows he's getting backside pressure from his defenseman. As Ferentz gives the pressure here to Barnes, hooks on, and then Hedberg just lies down on the ice. And Barnes can't get it up and over top of him. And a lot of teams have not had much success with first-year goaltenders in the playoffs this year, but obviously Pittsburgh has had a lot of it, as Hedberg has been the big story so far in terms of goaltending in this year's playoff run.
25 seconds remaining in 4-on-4 hockey. It's 2 shots for Pittsburgh in this period. Sabres have the edge, 14-10. There's Straka sidestepping one check, and then Warner stepped into him. Dead hit by Kasparedes, but it's a 2-on-1. Warner and Barnes, and Warner is stopped by Hedberg.
And again, Buffalo has to change the angle on this kid. Kasparedes gets caught way up in the other zone. There, coming up. And both Straka and Kasparedes collide, and that's what creates the 2-on-1 going the other way. There's Kasparedes, and there's no support behind Kasparedes because Straka's caught as well. Hedberg's well out of his net, way out of the blue paint. And that's when Warner has to take a step at either side, like we showed you in the first period, to move him a little bit, and then shoot, or pass across with a 2-on-1.
Improving on a save percentage that was .947 coming into tonight's action. 15 stops for the Moose. And 8 seconds remaining in the 4-on-4. And those antlers haven't bothered him tonight.
Not a bit. He looks like he's having a lot of fun in there, to be honest with you. Lopping it up, and he's on a roll.
Morozov steps in to take this draw with Barnes, the only Sabre to beat him so far in this series. That was a power play goal. Another chance tipped over the net by Audette.
I will say this, if the Buffalo Sabres keep winning these draws, sooner or later they're going to score a goal. Because they continue to win the faceoffs cleanly, right back, and Morozov came right out through the point. Another one here, snapped right back by Barnes. Here's the block shot, ooh, as Morozov goes down. And again, another good save by Hedberg afterwards. As Hedberg got a stick into the play. And the puck went out of play afterwards. Here's the face-off. One thing Pittsburgh are doing, they are getting out on the Sabres. But then, how about that save? Right in front as Hedberg deflected the puck out of harm's way.
Barnes tied up by Primo. Morozov nearly lost it. He does get it ahead. It ricochets off Schmelik back into the Pittsburgh zone, and the two teams back at full strength. Manning Laukkanen winds up, the former Senator pushing it ahead. Primo after it, deep in the Buffalo zone. Dumont sends it up the boards. It's knocked back behind Hotchik, and he one-hands it around. Morozov had his stick lifted. Barnes can't get it out. Stevens sends it back in. Kevin Stevens, the lone goal scorer here. He was candid prior to the game about that first round against Washington, talking about how tough that series was, and he said if we didn't win in overtime in Game 6, I'm not sure we would have won Game 7. That's how close the opening round was against their old first-round rivals, the Capitals. There's Barnes back into the Pittsburgh zone. Siplikov after it. Swept away by Lemieux. Patrick laid it back in deep. Lemieux on the puck once again and gets it out. Zipnik backpedals. Gave it away, and back in comes Pittsburgh. Verdina cut off by Zipnik. Alexei Zipnik certainly not being spelled because of the heavy hit in the last game. He had 840 in the last game. There's a shot and a goal! Curtis Brown finally beats Hedberg, and the Sabres tie it as Brown is able to score off the goal post.
Well, this time Hedberg didn't get out of his net. And a surprise shot catches him. And a giveaway here by the Pittsburgh Penguins coming out of their zone. Right there. And just a quick release by Brown, and he makes no mistake. And here's the giveaway here by Bergevin. Off the boards, but he gets hooked onto right there by Siplikov. And then the shot, just a quick one, right off the post and in. And a real good one by Curtis Brown.
Curtis Brown has his third of the playoffs. He had the overtime winner in Game 4 against Philadelphia, and a tying goal here in the second period. That shot by Brown might have deflected in off the defenseman who went down in front.
I think it went straight in. We'll have another look at it, Chris, but I have a feeling it went straight in.
Patrick and Barada get the assists on the goal at 13:04. A 1-1 tie here in the second period of Game 3.
Use your Canadian Tire credit card when you run in. and you'll run out with 20% more Canadian Tire money on the cards. It pays to use the card.
Well, this is after the giveaway by Bergevin. Now Patrick just shovels it through, and it might have hit Barrett's going down, but certainly Hedberg didn't see it as Brown released the puck in a hurry. Maybe from this angle we'll get a better look. Yes, no question. Good eyes there, partner. It is left skate and went right off the post and in. Mr. Cuthbert,
You went 5-hole on Barrett's.
you're sharp tonight, sir.
Well, Hedberg has been too, and maybe that's one of those bounces that Lindy Ruff was looking for to get the Sabres back in it. 6:20 remaining in the second period. Warner gets it in deep. Dumont hauled down by Janssen. Centering pass. Kalinin and his shot blocked by Morozov. Gets it again. Sends it across Audette. His shot blocked by Kasparaitis. But the Sabres are energized. And a shot flipped in and caught by Hedberg, who didn't want to whistle. And then got bumped by Dumont. Just under 6 minutes to go. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Labatt Blue. John Regas, the owner of the Buffalo Sabres, who was telling us before the game we're not getting any bounces, so it's been a familiar refrain in the Buffalo camp, and maybe it's starting to turn, as his team has tied it here in the second period of Game 3. And they'll face off again. Curtis Brown on this draw against Robert Lang.
And again, Pittsburgh better start winning some face-offs here. They're going to get themselves in trouble, big trouble, off the draw.
Brown's offensive numbers not as high this year as he replaced Michael Pekka and his checking responsibilities. Here's Barrett's trying to bust in. He's taken to the boards, and the Sabres are able to get it out, and they'll counter. Barada on the right side. He's stopped up by Bergevin. Here's a hit as Corbet ran into Ziplikov but got the worst of it. And Corbet a little slow to get up as Kalinin bounces it in. Mark Bergevin with under 5.5 minutes to go in the period, off the glass, pulled down by Warner. Barrett's back. He'll try the right side. And Kalinin pinching in. Pass comes back to the point. Warner's shot. That changed direction. And Hedberg out to pounce on that puck at the side of the net.
And the confidence level by the Buffalo Sabres has risen considerably after they scored the goal. You see it the way they're now starting to take charge and go after Pittsburgh in their own zone much more. Corbet and Ziplikov got all tied up as Corbet tried to give him a ride and got the worst of it. Right in the face as Ziplikov saw him coming, got his arm up. Okay, however.
On the 96 Colorado Stanley Cup championship team. Pittsburgh controls the draw. Danny Laukkonen headmans the puck to Straka. Schmelik on him. The Sabres dump it back. Afinogenov in on the forecheck. He stopped up Laukkonen, but took a stick, and I think Afinogenov was winded. He gets up the pucks there, and he plays it in front, and Hedberg's there to stop it again, and we've got a penalty to Bob Buchner, who put the grasp on Afinogenov, who is appealing for another penalty on a stick he took from Laukkonen.
And here's Laukkonen here, and he spears Afinogenov, and that's why Afinogenov went down there. And then right afterwards, there was a scrum right behind the net.
Pittsburgh penalty, number 6, Bob Buchner.
We're going to have a penalty here to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Penalty 15-16. Buchner.
Bob Buchner in the penalty box of the Sabres on the power play, looking for the go-ahead goal. Here's Gratton. Miro Shatan, Audette poised in the slot, back out to Gratton. Now Chitan winds up, blocked by Kasparaitis. Lemieux plays it behind the goal. Janssen there, up on the glass, and Lemieux will ease it out to center. Band on it, didn't get it deep. Gratton gets it back in off Woolley. Kasparaitis and Janssen. Janssen check. Audette after it. Comes out in a backhand from a bad angle. Ends up on the far side. Zhitnik at the line, and it came out. And it's called on the offside as Audette and Kasparaitis exchange shoves deep in the Pittsburgh zone.
Well, after the spear behind the net, we should show you the penalty. And there's the spear, and then Bob Bugner, after a Finneganov got up, tackled him. And that's why the Pittsburgh Penguins are in penalty trouble right now with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go in Bugner's penalty.
Under 4 minutes to go in the second period. Andreychuk and Kovalev to face off. Andreychuk, Gilmore, and a Finneganov. Now the power play unit up front for Lindy Ruff. Kalinin and Patrick, the defenseman. Finneganov along the boards, he gave it away, and Hrdina sends it back into Buffalo territory. Winnipeg native James Patrick, the former Canadian Olympian. To Kalinin. Sending it in, but Kovalev there for Pittsburgh off Gilmore, and then the Penguins get it down the ice.
If you're going to shoot the puck in, you have to have two players going, and Buffalo has not had that in this situation.
Finneganov's going off the side of the net as he tried to barge through. Has it behind the net again. Finneganov out to Patrick. Now Gilmore. James Patrick again. Kovalev and Ference watching Gilmore. Patrick fans as the penalty is over, and Bugner steps back on the ice. Patrick up the boards. Played in by Barada. Kasparaitis off the glass and over the glass as he tried to get the puck to Martin Straka with 2:33 left in the second.
And that was a smart play by Kasparaitis. He was out for the whole penalty kill for Pittsburgh. He was a little bit tired, so he chipped it off the glass just enough to get it out of play so Pittsburgh can regroup and get fresh bodies on the ice. The Buffalo Sabres, really not a good chance to score on their power play again, as Pittsburgh did a good job of recovering loose pucks when Buffalo tried to enter the Pittsburgh zone.
Well, Buffalo rode their power play in the first round, scoring 6 against the Flyers. The Penguins really have struggled penalty killing until the last couple of games. 76% is their penalty killing in the playoffs. Coming into tonight's action, they've been good tonight. There's Hedberg stopping it and holding on. And Steve Hines coming back after that nasty high stick to the forehead. The 11 stitches to close the gash.
So a big 2 minutes and 19 seconds for the Buffalo Sabres. If they can chip one in here, they've certainly been carrying the play to the Pittsburgh Penguins the last half of this period. And Morozov here looks a little bit hurt on the bench. And see why. Oh, he took one right off the ankle. So he limped off, and we'll keep an eye on him.
Barnes and Lang on this draw, pulled back behind Hedberg's net. There's Barnes with it, and Barnes comes out in front and off the goal post, or did that hit Laukkanen? Close call. Straka back. Crisscrossing with Kovalev as they move in once again. Kovalev to the net. Hatchik down. Hatchik hasn't had much action in this period, but he ends up under a pile and now back the other way. Uman unable to get loose as he tried to break in. Behind the net, they center it in front. Straka shovels it to the boards. Zhitnik moved up, couldn't get it through the traffic, and Lang headman's off the skate of Kovalev out to center. Warner rolls it back. Hedberg out of the net. Look out. Bergevin helped out to get it ahead for Straka. He'll dance back into Buffalo territory. Nearly got through as a little hole between Schmelik and Woolley. Now Straka bumps Woolley. Missed by Schmelik. Woolley closes him down. And we're into the final minute of the second period. Murata back for Buffalo. Over the line. Siplikov unable to set up Curtis Brown, and the Penguins get rid of it to center. 19-10 the shots in favor of the Sabres in this 1-1 tie. Lemieux over it goes, and Hatchett has to make a good stop there off Stevens, the only man to beat him so far tonight.
One of the reasons Mario Lemieux is so good is he makes decisions in a hurry. As soon as he sees somebody open, boom, he makes the pass. He doesn't wait, doesn't delay at all. And that was a good example of it on this last rush by Pittsburgh. As he had the puck, Mario Lemieux, right on his stick. And you'll watch the decision he makes in a hurry. His head is up. He knows the puck is coming. There. As soon as three players come towards him, he knows somebody has to be open. And the minute that happens, he finds the man open. And it's Stevens. And boy, that was a terrific save by Dominic Hasek.
Penguins have averaged 25 shots. We've got a penalty here off the face-off. And a couple of calls coming up.
Zhitnik and Corbe got all tied up after the draw, so they will both go off for the rest of the period with 36 seconds and change to go. It'll be interesting to see now how Mario Lemieux does for the next 36 seconds, because Zhitnik has done an excellent job on him tonight. So Mario will have a little extra territory to work with here for the rest of this period and the first part of the third period.
And that means Curtis Brown comes back on the ice.
Pittsburgh penalty number 9, Rene Corbe.
The best defensive center on the Sabres to handle Big 66. Roughing penalties to Zhitnik and Corbe at 19:23. Chatan. Andrew Ferentz back to Mario Lemieux. Over the line. Dropped it. Bergevin had it knocked off his stick by Brown.
No, that's blocked!
Looked down into Buffalo territory.
I'm watching some terrific chemistry between Ferentz and Mario Lemieux. Almost like Coffey and Lemieux used to play here at Pittsburgh. As Ferentz is a good puck-handling defenseman with excellent speed, and they love to give and go coming out of the zone.
Some people were surprised when Yuri Slager was dealt at the deadline, but Andrew Ferentz has certainly been a solid offensive defenseman for the Penguins. So the second period comes to an end as these two teams trade goals. Stevens on the power play, then Brown. It's 1-1 after 2 in Pittsburgh.
Curtis Brown has the goal for the Sabres. It's 1-1 Pittsburgh and Buffalo after 2 periods of play. Seemed like you could have had more in that second period, am I right?
Well, we definitely had a lot of chances. I think that's kind of where the series has gone. We just haven't got many in behind this guy, and he's been playing real strong. So I guess the way we approach it is just an odds thing. Keep getting him to the net, and hopefully we get a few.
How do you approach playing against 66 of the Penguins?
Well, he's just so incredibly talented that you're never going to completely shut him out and take all his chances away. I think what you want to do is minimize them, and if we can do it as a 5-man group, hopefully we can keep him down.
Curtis, thanks for this, and good luck to the Sabres.
Thank you very much.
There's Curtis Brown of the Buffalo Sabres coming up next after 40 minutes. We'll preview game number 3 between Colorado, Los Angeles with Aaron Miller of the Kings here at the Igloo. 1-1 Pittsburgh and Buffalo after 2 as Hockey Night in Canada continues coast to coast.
Kevin Stevens, Curtis Brown, the goal scorers. 1-1 after 2 in Pittsburgh. Game 2 coming up in L.A. Aaron Miller looks ahead to that next.
After 40 minutes, brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet, tried, tested, and true.
Aaron, thanks a lot for doing this pre-game. Just a comment on the series, what you've seen as maybe the keys to it so far and what you have to do to win Game 3 tonight.
Well, I don't think we played that well in Game 1. We kind of stalled one with some great goaltending, but played a little bit better in Game 2, but came up short. So I think we did what we wanted to do. We got a game on the road, and now we just want to play well at home. It
was a slow start against Detroit, too. Is it maybe a feeling out process, or how do you explain why you don't think you played your best in those two?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is a feeling out process, but by this time of the year, we should be playing strong every night. We didn't. We know we didn't. We know we can play better, and to win 1 of 2 and not have played our best is a good feeling.
Absolutely. You and Bob Hartley are great pals from the minors through the Colorado experience. Is there a difference in terms of Andy Murray, the way he uses pairings, or maybe matches defense versus opponents' offensive lines?
Well, it's pretty much the same. You match certain D pairs against certain lines, and yeah, I had a great career with Bob, but it's time to move on here, and I'm with Andy now, and he's done a great job with his team.
What's your assignment tonight?
Don't let the other team score.
But if you were keying, who would you be keying on, yourself personally?
Well, I'm not sure what we're going to do. I've been playing against Sakic a lot and Forsberg too, so it's a lot of chasing those guys around and trying to limit their chances, limit their shots, and then hope we can get a couple goals.
This is good. You're like Bull Durham. I can't get you to confess. One thing I would like to know, with Karlotti just coming in sort of at the end, Matthew Schneider was hurt down the stretch. You come over. How did you ever get your defense to play as well as it has as a unit?
Well, it's a team effort. Our D are pretty solid back there. A lot of guys that aren't really well known, but it's a lot of the forwards coming back and helping out too, and obviously we're getting fantastic goaltending. So when your goaltender plays well, it makes your defense look great.
Good luck tonight.
Appreciate it.
Aaron Miller and Adam Deadmarsh know that the Colorado Avalanche have really struggled in Los Angeles for whatever reason. They've never won 0-4 at the Staples Center. You see the teams on the ice in the pregame skate. Let's go to the broadcast booth to preview Game 3 of the series. Don Whitman and John Davidson. Don.
Thank you, Ron. Hi, everybody. Since relocating from Quebec to Denver, John, the Avalanche have really had problems in California. Just 3 wins in Los Angeles during that time.
Colorado, California, what's the difference? You know what? You look at these numbers here, it really makes you wonder, how come, why? Then you look at Patrick Roy's numbers of the games that he's had played in Los Angeles, and you go, they're not very good either. 1-5-3 in his last 9, and that includes the Staples Center and the other building before this new one was built. But look at the goals against, huh? 4 or more in 8 of those 9. However, remember this. Patrick in '93 won the only 2 playoff games he's played here, so he gets it done come playoff time.
And he got a shutout in Game 2 in Denver prior to the series shifting here. For the Los Angeles Kings to have some success on home ice, some of their big guns have to get going.
Stay out of the penalty box and get some of the big boys scoring. Look at Palffy move down his off wing, which is the left wing to him. Patrick Roy took everything away. Patrick's coming off a shutout against these guys in Game 2. But if you think about it, Palffy, Smolinski, Robitaille, and Stumple. Those 4 guys were the top 4 point getters during a regular season for Los Angeles in this series. And it's only 2 games in. Both were on the road. But they've only had 2 assists total, no goals, and they've been challenged by their staff to get some scoring in this game.
And an unlikely overtime hero in Game 1, Yaroslav Modry, getting the winner in the Game 1 win, Ron, for the Los Angeles Kings in Denver.
Absolutely, Don. We've mentioned a lot of defensemen, unlikely heroes in these playoffs. How about, by the way, John, Kelly Rudy appreciated you mentioning Roy won those 2 games in L.A. How about Rob Blake's return? Any big fuss about Blake?
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Well, this is the first time that he has played in this building as a visitor. And talking to him earlier, he said he's probably a little more nervous playing the Kings here than he was the first game of the series back in Denver.
The L.A. coach, Andy Murray, said, listen, the folks here in L.A. ought to give him a standing ovation when he first comes on the ice. As soon as that's over, start booing him, and then we can move on and get into the rest of the series.
Excellent, gentlemen. We'll look forward to that. A 1-hour news update follows the game at the Igloo, and then it'll be off to Los Angeles for Game 3 between the Avalanche and the Kings. If Kelly's not mad about that Roy stuff, he'll be with us next.
After 40 minutes, brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet, tried, tested, and true.
Big night for the Buffalo Sabres, and Johan Hedberg has a huge challenge ahead of him here in the 3rd period. Before we address the 1-1 tie in Pittsburgh, Kelly, I can remember that '93 final. Just unbelievable when Gretzky scored in Game 3. Eventually, heartbreaker in overtime, of course, but the mood was so electric. The people at Redondo Beach had those stomp the leaf and then Habs signs.
It's funny you brought up Patrick winning those 2 games. Wasn't that funny?
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna include Daryl Sador, but we've been brutal enough on poor Daryl.
Actually, I knew we were cooked after the 2nd game at home that we lost. My brother and my dad were there, and I took them into one of the training trainers' rooms after, and I said that's it, because he can't lose 2 games at home.
What about tonight? What do you think will happen with the Kings and the Avs?
Well, you know what? It's funny. JD mentioned about LA taking penalties, and that's one thing about Luc Robitaille. Starts getting frustrated. He's a great goal scorer, and he can't let his frustrations affect the team and the game.
Well, he said in the press today that the fans know we're working hard, but apparently Andy Murray didn't name any names, but it sounds like Robitaille and Palffy were the 2 guys he felt had to pick it up.
But all the great coaches do that. They challenge their best players at the right time, and that's not, you're not saying that Luke's a lousy playoff performer. You're just saying right now we need you.
Good stuff. All right, 1-1 at the Igloo, and a kid from Brantford does like another one.
Yeah, I have a good clip right here how Audette is going to enter the zone right here, and he's going to make a nice back pass to Grattan in the corner, though, but didn't expect. And I thought this was really cool, because when he first gets the puck right there, I thought he was going back to the point. But he knew that Shatan was going to the front, and he throws it right out in front like that. And look at the chance that the Sabres get right there. And boy, I wasn't expecting that. And I think that Grattan's played really well. You know who else? Stu Barnes. That guy's been unbelievable tonight.
Yeah, and Chris, this has been his playoffs. It's a real breakout for him, and it's nice to see. And he, by the way, won a world championship with Andy Murray, the Kings coach. Here's Rhett Warner doing something that I was saying Brian Rafalski's really good at, and it's a skill, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to see Bergman rifle the puck off the glass, and Warner, this is a very brave play right there. He keeps the puck in deep. Now, Ferentz is going to try it off the other side. Now, eventually, it's going to come right back up through the middle, and look who's there again, Warner, and just fires it back in towards the net. And that's something that we've seen a lot of from the Sabres tonight, and that's, again, that's a brave play, because we saw it last night. If they chip it over the defenseman, you're in big trouble.
Super. 1-1 after 40 minutes at the Igloo. A huge third period coming up. We'll get you right back to the Mellon Arena and more of Game 3 on Hockey Night in Canada in a moment.
Club.
April 30th, 1972 was the date the Stanley Cup Finals of that spring began. The Boston Bruins met the New York Rangers in the finals, the first time that those 2 original 6 teams had met in the finals in 43 years. Boston opened the series with a 6-5 win on April 30th and went on to win the Stanley Cup in 6 games.
Action, round 2. It's New Jersey at Toronto. The Stanley Cup Playoffs on CBC's Hockey Night in Canada, tomorrow night at 7 Eastern.
Kevin Stevens for the Penguins and Curtis Brown for the Sabres, tied at 1 as we get set for the 3rd period of play in game number 3. And let's take a look at the goals.
Oh, Kevin Stevens on the power play. Ferentz gets it through, and he redirects it past Dominic Hasek. But then a giveaway here by Bergevin, and then a quick shot by Brown that was redirected on the way in. And Hedberg had no chance on that one to tie the game up, and that's where we are heading into the 3rd period.
And the team start the 3rd period 4-on-4. Corbet and Jitnik still in the penalty box. Here's Curtis Brown trying to break in, and Ferentz cut him off, and Hedberg held the short side. Here's a loose puck, Brown on it. Curtis Brown leaves it for Schmelik, and a shot went off the skate of Lemieux with Shatan loose in front of the net. So Buffalo to the attack here in the early stages of the 3rd period. Shatan looks for a loose puck. Kovalev falls. The shot by Woolley goes high. Schmelik on the other side. Ferentz loses his footing. Lemieux in to help out. Mario Lemieux, who has logged the most ice time for the Penguins tonight, 18 minutes through the first 2 periods.
And look at him slow it down when he gets the puck. Just say, hey, boys, let's regroup and come out properly. And the Pittsburgh Penguins do.
Now Kovalev drops it off. Lemieux looked like he was going to the bench, but came back out. Luukkonen shot off the stick of Shatan. Kovalev shoveled it in front, and Brown the other way at the end of a long 4-on-4 shift. Now goes to the bench 70 seconds into the 3rd period. Penalized players getting set to return. Here's Warner knocking down a clearing attempt and getting a scoring opportunity. anticipating well. Now Corbeil's back, another giveaway in the zone, and Audette unable to get a shot off. Now off the side of the net, it's Burns in front, and Dumont couldn't reach it, and the Penguins will counter. Straka back the other way, sidestepped a couple of Sabres over the line. Now in for Johnson, and his pass off a skate. Puck outletted to Dumont on left wing. JP Dumont over the line. Now comes up with it again. Audette swatted at it. And Straka will roll it out to center ice. 21-11. The shots favor Buffalo.
Pittsburgh here giving the puck away far too often in their own zone. It's going to cost them if they keep doing it.
Puck rolled down. Primo back to touch it ahead of a Finneganov. Well, it's 2-0 Pittsburgh, but we found out last year how quickly it can turn around. Remember Philadelphia down 2-0. They came here a tight game 3, broken up by Andy Delmore, the rookie defenseman, scored the overtime goal. Flyers got a little momentum, and then in game 4, it was 5 overtime periods before Keith Primo scored the goal. Now his brother is a member of the Penguins, but the Flyers changed the momentum of that series here in Pittsburgh, and Buffalo would love to do the same.
One little difference though this year. The man taking the face-off at the moment for Pittsburgh.
Not a bad difference
at all.
Kevin Stevens said he was up waving the pom-poms from the owner's box last year. Verdina. Rene Corbeil to the other side. Bergevin moves up. Verdina played it in behind the goal. Corbeil battling there. Tries to fish the loose puck out, and Patrick maintained possession for the Sabres. Now Buffalo breaks through center. Offside at the Pittsburgh line.
I think you'll see Mario Lemieux a lot more in this third period of play. After 2 periods, he's played a fair bit of ice. He's been on for 18 minutes, but in this third period, I am positive he's already had 2 shifts, and he played just 3 minutes of the second period, and he stayed out for a lot of the 4-on-4 situation. And yes, Buffalo Sabres have had a tough time in the third period compared to the Pittsburgh Penguins so far.
Penguins' formula for success is to get the lead early. They've been good in the first period, and then they've closed teams down in the third so far in these playoffs. But you get the sense there's a little momentum on the Sabres side right now, even though the score is tied at 1. Morozov shovels it in. There's Primo on the forecheck, taking Schmelik to the glass. Andrew Chuck ahead, and it's Hines over the line. Again, Steve Hines took 11 stitches to the forehead in the second period. Andrew Chuck along the boards. All his points in these playoffs came in that 8-0 win over Philadelphia. He had 3 points in that game, and Steven Stralls to roll it down the ice.
Pittsburgh are quite content just to send 1 man in and line up 4 across in the neutral zone and lock up the left wing.
Now Barnes trying to move on Laukkonen. Played in behind the goal, and Warner tripped up Buchner, and Rhett Warner will go off. 4 minutes into the third period. Pittsburgh gets a power play, trying to break this 1-1 tie.
Rhett Warner in the penalty box on a little trip behind the net as Brugger goes for the puck, and there is the penalty. So a big-time opportunity. Let's look at this left wing lock. There's Robert Lang right there. He will lock on. That's the left winger locking on, and then 2 Penguins back in the neutral zone. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Penguins now going into their own zone, and that's why they've been so stingy defensively.
Now Pittsburgh goes to work in the power play. Lemieux stopped by Hasek. Loose puck in front. Clear to the line. And Kovalev fires, and Hasek got a piece of that. And Buffalo relieves the pressure. Pittsburgh 1 for score on the power play at Kevin Stevens' deflection. Couple of big blasts there in Lemieux. Thwarted by Hasek on one of his best saves of the night. Kovalev on this side. Robert Lang returns the puck to Kovalev. Now Janssen gets by one man. Cross-ice pass behind Lang. Robert Lang finds some room and Straka. Kovalev again. Marty Straka. Back to Kovalev, who's got that big shot, and it's moved. Now Straka. Janssen fired, and that hit Brown. Janssen to Kovalev again. Moves in the slot. Brown broke it up and backhands it down.
Zitnik is all over Mario Lemieux at the side of the net, not giving him any room at all.
Straka straight through, and he can't get the shot off. Well, Lemieux played in just 43 games. He had 16 power play goals. So he is being swarmed here, but did get one scoring chance.
And Lemieux works off the side of the net and then the half board. And Zitnik has been following him quite well and taking him out. Now the key to Zitnik here, he's getting in between the goaltender and Lemieux. Now Lemieux gains position there and has good position on Zitnik, but then Zitnik there gets back into a better defensive position, but all the time he's taking Lemieux's stick out of the play and lifting it in the air.
Lemieux stays out. Zitnik on the bench. 27 seconds left in the power play. Ferentz. Morozov now out with Lemieux and Stevens in front. The pass hit the side of the net. Back to Lemieux. Laukkanen, one-timer, and Hasek got a piece of that. Morozov, cross ice, Lemieux, Stevens in front, Hasek down, it stays out, and Hasek is able to smother the puck.
Amazing, isn't it? Zitnik goes off the ice, Mario Lemieux all of a sudden gets some room, and he sets Stevens up. Incredible. Whenever the Penguins are in trouble, they'll go to Mario Lemieux. Now there is Schmelik going too far, and then Stevens is left wide open in front. And wide open is Lemieux, one of the few times he gets that much room. And then Kalinin gets caught too high, and that's why Stevens was open. But once again, Dominic Hasek with tremendous anticipation. He knows Stevens is open. He gets across in a hurry and just lies down like we've seen him do so many times. And an excellent chance afterwards by Straka. He just couldn't get it up and over top to Dominic Hasek.
Big rebound save off Morozov as well. 6 minutes into the third, the penalty expired. And now back the other way. Grattan nearly broke through. Warner in front. Puck doesn't get there. Shatan takes over. 29-goal regular season. Here's Zitnik's shot. Sails wide. Shatan to Grattan. Back to Shatan, who lost it. Well, Lemieux is still out there. Did the whole power play. Remains on the ice. Back to the attack. Lemieux shot. And Hasek gloves that. And maybe Mario will get to the bench and take a break.
Two of the Kings fans are about
Zombie Island was discovered by my great-grandfather.
Penguins had one shot on their first 4 power plays, although the one shot was deflected and went in. That last power play much more dangerous, and 3 shots generated, and Hasek had to be outstanding to keep this game tied at 1. Primo and Gilmore. Face-off won by the Sabres. And again off battling on this left side. Lost the puck, gets it back again. Still can't get it out now. It rolls out to center ice. Hasek stopping it up behind the net. Woolley plays it around, knocked down there by Corbeil. Johnson at the point, his shot doesn't get through. That was blocked by Woolley. Here's Shatan. Shot right on, and Hedberg makes the save as a Vinaganov came off his wrong wing.
One thing that Pittsburgh are doing well is they're funneling back on their back check through the middle. And when they do that, that just leaves the bad angle shot, and Hedberg makes no mistake. And there's the shot for the point, and then they get it out. Now watch how the Penguins here, they'll funnel back right towards this area here. And they'll give that shot all night long on Hedberg because he'll stop them 9 times out of 10. And Zibanejad had nothing to shoot on Hedberg whatsoever because he came out and challenged him.
Buffalo with just 2 goals so far in the series. Power play goal by Barnes on Saturday, game 2. And an even trick goal by Curtis Brown in the second period tonight. There's a puck knocked down with a high stick they rule. And the faceoff will come outside the Pittsburgh zone as Dumont got his stick on that clearing attempt.
That's the second time that Jani Laukkanen has tried to go through the middle coming out of his zone. He almost got caught again. And right now he's being talked to by the coaching staff. Now stop it here, guys. He should be going off the boards and out. This is a high-risk play through the middle. And he tries to flip it up high. Ooh, and almost gets caught. But the Penguins are out of the zone. There's nobody giving him any support as all the wingers are taking off too early on the defense here for Pittsburgh. And that's one of Pittsburgh's problems.
Bouchner off the boards. It bounces out to center. Robert Lang up with it. Playing it for Warner and back to Kalinin. The 20-year-old rookie defenseman has been steady for the Sabres all season long. Now Laukkanen back to play it. We'll see what he does this time. Under some pressure. Off the glass and ahead for Kovalev. Message received. But here's Barnes coming back. Stu Barnes puts on the brakes. Looks for an open man. Audette will take over. Dumont in front, and now he'll help Audette out. Lang trying to knock Audette off the puck. 4 players battle behind the net. Lang came up with it, and now Laukkanen flipping it high again. Knocked down with a high stick, but Lang plays it. Play continues. Stevens came up with it to Morozov. Morozov threw it across. And a Sabre there to break it up, and Barada races after it down the right side. Václav Barada. Watched by Bergevin. Now Ferris for Pittsburgh. He's hounded there by Curtis Brown. Siplikov after it as well. Curtis Brown along the boards, worked over by Lemieux, and Lemieux comes up with it. Another example of his attention to defensive detail. The one area they say that he might be better than he was 10 years ago. Of course, when you're scoring 200 points a year, you don't usually have to pay too much attention to defense, do you? Kasparaitis. Morozov backhanding it across. Hrdina after it. Morozov behind the net. Zhitnik on him. Now Primo to Morozov. Gilmore latches on to Hrdina. Puck came in front, and away goes Shatan. 10 points in the playoffs, put 9 against Philadelphia. Shot handled by Hedberg. Shatan taken down. Gilmore from behind the net, trying to put it in front. He does, and Woolley scores the goal to put Buffalo ahead 2-1.
Give Woolley credit. He joined the attack when he saw Pittsburgh in trouble. And here it is. Zibanejad comes down the wing. Now the Penguins are on a change, but they're still all right. And the puck will go to the corner. And Johnson here will take off to take Gilmore. And down will come Jason Woolley. And Rennie Corbet loses his check all the way down the side. And his check is the point man. And what a great play by Doug Gilmore on the turn back here. He knows that the defenseman's coming towards him, so there has to be somebody open. if Corbeil doesn't take his man, and he doesn't, that's Jason Woolley coming in from the point. And the Sabres are ahead of the game here, midway through the third.
Buffalo Sabres with their first lead of this series. Hasek in some trouble, but play called on a high stick. Woolley, his first of the playoffs from Gilmore, and a Finneganov at 9:51 has Buffalo on top.
Canadian eyes and ears in television belong to only one network, and that's the CBC.
The National, weeknights on CBC.
Welcome back to the Mellon Arena in Pittsburgh, and it's quiet right now, Greg, as the Buffalo Sabres have their first lead of the series.
Well, Buffalo has really taken it, in my opinion, to the Pittsburgh Penguins from about the middle part of the second period on. And Pittsburgh has not reacted very well to it, and a lot of the action has been down in the Pittsburgh area.
Jason Woolley 2 years ago when Buffalo went to the Stanley Cup final, he has 15 points. He has his first goal of this year's playoffs. Woolley got knocked down with a case of the flu in the first round, and then had trouble getting back into the Buffalo lineup. Here's a giveaway, and Kovalev turns and shoots wide. Not by much. Knocked down by Laukkonen, who keeps it in for the Penguins. Kovalev after it. As now Pittsburgh will try and press. The one thing about playing their style, that if they do get behind, they still can crank it up with all these weapons. There's Straka dashing around. Straka, Kovalev had a little trouble handling the pass. Now tripped by Kalinin. Lang battling forward. He's knocked down and finally cleared by Warner.
Interesting pick play on that. The Penguins will do a lot of this. They'll pick all over the ice, and Bugner runs a beautiful pick at the blue line, and right now the Buffalo Sabres are complaining to the officials about it. Here's the pick here, there, and then Straka. There's another pick by Bugner, and then Straka should have shot that puck. He had a wide open opportunity to do so. And right away, Jason Woolley went after the officials and said, guys, you can't keep letting them do that. Set play by Pittsburgh, and we watched an earlier play when Kovalev picked right in front of the net, and Straka walked out in the corner in the second period.
Lemieux now out with Stevens and Morozov. At the side of the net, Patrick had Stevens tied up. Here's Morozov. Just one postseason goal in 30 games for a youngster that they're waiting to blossom in Pittsburgh. He lost the puck, and back comes the Sabres. Chipped in by Barada. Siplikov on the board check. He takes out Bergevin. Brown comes up with it. Barada behind the net. He's knocked down. Bergevin will swing it against the flow. Stevens can't get it by the pinching defenseman Patrick. Here's a shot right on Hedberg. Siplikov taken out in the corner. Ferentz to Morozov. That pass deflecting right back to the Pittsburgh goaltender with exactly 8 minutes to go in the third period.
A good shift by Buffalo after being hemmed up in their own zone the last shift. They come right back with a good one. And that's what you have to do when you're up by a goal on the road with 8 minutes to go. A little bit rough. Yeah, you're looking up at the clock saying, how many more shifts do we have to go before we're out of here with a big victory?
Doug Gilmore, who set up the go-ahead goal, is back on the ice with Chatan and a Finneganov. Gilmore one-hands it to the front of the net. Johnson there. And that puck played over Woolley down the ice. Doug Gilmore now with 177 playoff points in this is 161st game. The biggest was the 1989 Stanley Cup clinching goal. But a big one for Buffalo tonight in that assist to give the Sabres the lead. Tony Corbeil deep in the Buffalo zone. There's Schmelik. It's knocked off his stick. Schmelik gets it back again. Now Finneganov bounced by Kasparaitis. Gilmore helping out his defenseman, but pinned by Corbeil. Now Woolley. Cross ice a bit again. He's got great speed. Had a step on Kasparaitis. Hands off to Shatan. Shatan, drop around, scores! Miro Shatan got there ahead of Hedberg, and it's 3-1 Buffalo.
Speed, and more speed is the reason this goal goes in. And Afinogenov just takes off, and here he has Kasper beat, but he turns back, and then a broken play here as Shatan just comes right around the net. It's very similar to the goal we saw last night against the Dallas Stars with that Belfort goal, except Afinogenov wraps, and there's no way Hedberg can get back. He just dives and hits him and goes to the net.
So Shatan has his third goal and his 11th point of the playoffs. Afinogenov and Woolley, who figured in the second Buffalo scoring, had their second points of the night. Now Hedberg's lost his stick. The puck comes out to center. And now Pittsburgh's got to crank up the offense. Lang nailed at the line, and the play was offside.
When you fill up your tank at a Canadian Tire gas bar, you can fill up on Canadian Tire money, too. It pays to buy gas here.
Well, Afinogenov with all that speed, and then Shatan has great speed as well, and he just takes off behind the net. And Halinka knows right now that his team is in trouble in this hockey game, and Mario Lemieux has not been out for the last couple of shifts. Here's Afinogenov after his speed, turning back, and now the Penguins are caught. And Afinogenov a little fake that holds Hedberg long enough, and then he goes behind the net and wraps it around him. That quick fake just before he went behind the net was what held Hedberg so he couldn't get across afterwards.
Lang, Kovalev, and Straka, who dashed in and nearly stole that cross-ice pass. Back out there. And although this line for Pittsburgh hasn't scored yet tonight, they've looked like the most dangerous line. Alkinen sends it across. Kovalev on the other side. Can't come up with it. Dumont knocks it out and goes after it. And now he'll speed in. Dumont in front, and Hedberg loved it away from Audette. And now some heavy traffic around the Pittsburgh netminder.
And Pittsburgh better be careful here. They're going to get into big penalty trouble, and this game will be over. But when you're down by a couple of goals, you have to start gambling. And the Penguins gamble here on the pinch, and then the Buffalo Sabres are off to the races because of it. And what a pick there at the top of the screen. And then Hedberg reads it well. And you're going to see a pick. There's the end result there, the 2-on-1 that Hedberg reads so well. There was a pick coming in on the 2-on-1 that really worked quite well. Now let's just keep it rolling here. Now, stop it there, boys. Right there. You're going to see this pick on the back check so the Penguin can't get to this player there by the Sabres. And that ended up working the 2-on-1 for Buffalo, but again, Hedberg with a nice read.
Curtis Brown's on the ice, and that's because Lemieux is back out for Pittsburgh. Face-off one, and Shitnick's blast didn't miss by much. Bergevin sent it down the ice, and this is icing against the Penguins. 5:53 remaining in the third, and the Sabres lead by 2.
You know, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres have only went once before in the playoffs, that 1979 three-game series. The overtime winner was scored by this man, George Ferguson. How big a night was that for you, George?
It was a huge night. I mean, it was a big goal that beat a very good team in the Sabres 79 and moved us on to the next series.
I know you've spent a long time in Pittsburgh. How's the rebirth been with Mario coming back and the interest in hockey again in this city?
Absolutely incredible. I wouldn't have believed the response of the people in the city, and it was a big surprise, and it's been fantastic. He's done so many good things for this city, and everybody loves him here.
A lot of people in Pittsburgh remember that goal. I remember it as you leave. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Guys?
Well, Mario Lemieux And a close call there as he whistled a puck past the post. George Ferguson, a former Maple Leaf and an old teammate of yours.
I remember that night. He put it right between the legs of Bob Sauvé. I was on the bench as a young rookie, wanting him to score, not only because I was thrilled for our team, but I needed the money to get on to the next round. And I jumped right off the bench, and Denny Herron was the goalie that year, and he put on quite a show in that series. He was incredible.
Puck hit someone at the Pittsburgh bench, and we've got a Stanley Cup update from Ron McLean.
Well, how about this, Chris? Just moments into the game in Los Angeles, first game back for Rob Blake. And wouldn't you know it, here's Rob taking the puck, and from outside the blue line, he sneaks it through the cat. So 1-0 Colorado, and the worst possible goal scorer for the home side.
Wow.
And Mario Lemieux almost made this game close, streaking down the wing. And very similar to the shot he took in game 1 that beat Dominik Hasek, except he went short side. This time he went long side and just missed. Right from the same spot, though.
Quite a script in Los Angeles. Goal by Blake, and I wonder if it's a backbreaker for the Kings. Tough way to start as they
It's interesting to see how Felix Potvin reacts after letting that long goal in.
5:01 remaining here. And the Penguins find themselves down by a pair. A couple of third period goals. Jason Woolley at 9:51 and Miro Shatan at 12:03. Kept in by Janssen. They took a little dive trying to draw a penalty. Fans reacted. The officials didn't bite. And an offside is called.
And Buffalo now are a very good team when they're defending a lead. And they are just closing them right down as we look at this little play on Corbeil. And he helps it out a lot. And saying, wait a minute now. Dumont says, I don't think that was that bad a little hook. Maybe it was a dive. That's what the official thought.
Late enough in the game that neither the hook or the dive is called.
Or should it be in a playoff game with 4:43 to go?
Bay and Dumont jostling on the right side of this faceoff. There's Corbeil, hit by Dumont, but he got it in. Hasek got it to Schmelik. Hasek was hit by Primo as he went by, and he lost his footing and his stick momentarily. Medina now out with Primo as Stevens has joined Lemieux for the bulk of the second half of this game. And the Sabres are able to get it out. 27-17 the shots in favor of Buffalo. Pittsburgh in a defensive posture so much in these playoffs, hasn't been able to flick that offensive switch tonight. And Buffalo neatly gets it out. Penguins held to 15 shots in game number 2. They only have 17 tonight. There's Shatan. Gilmore sidesteps Kovalev, rolls it in, Shatan on it, rebound, and 2 big stops by Hedberg as he robs a Finnegan off.
That save just showed me something. This kid's a battler. He wasn't happy with the wraparound goal, and he comes right back and makes 2 terrific saves after it. And again off the rush, this line's been very effective for Buffalo tonight because of their speed. And there's the first chance, and then a Finnegan off with the rebound attempt. And he really makes a terrific save on both those shots. And again, when you come out as much as you do, you have to react very well. And there's Hasek at the other end, tripped up by Primo, or did he? Hasek is so good at taking dives, and he does it every game at least once. At least once.
31 left. Pretty good goaltending duel between Hasek and Hedberg tonight. Sabres have struck for 2 in the third period. Lemieux back out. Any late Pittsburgh fireworks. Here goes Morozov. Lemieux trailing. Play turned back on the Sabres. Mark Bergevin over on this side to Ferretz. He ran into Verada. Bergevin will try the other wing. Lemieux shoots it in, and Simplakov back to get it. Lemieux's there. He turned and fired it toward the net. Now Ferretz takes a shot wide. Lemieux for Morozov. Tried to center it. Lemieux reaches for it, knocked it off the stick of Curtis Brown. Pittsburgh keeps it in, and now play stopped. And is it James Patrick going?
It's going to be Patrick and I believe Stevens that are both going to go here. Yep. Stevens has done his job in front of the net. He didn't score a goal on the power play, and he's been causing all kinds of problems for the Buffalo Sabre defense. And let's see if we can pick this up here. There's the slash afterwards by Patrick, and a slash before that, or afterwards by Stevens, and before that by Patrick.
So 4-on-4 with 2:52 remaining in the third period.
And let's see what Coach Ivan Hlinka does in terms of his combinations here. Looks like he's going to go with 4 forwards.
Crowd has been silenced here in the third.
Yep, and Hedberg is right by the bench. And now he's coming out. So Hlinka's going to pull his goalie with 2:52 to go on this 4-on-4 situation to make it a 5-on-4. This is a smart move, in my opinion.
A little surprised, though, considering where the face-off is.
Now, you got to gamble. You're down by 2 goals. You might as well go for it here. And the power play unit is out now for Pittsburgh. Straka will be on the point with Laukkanen, Lang in the middle with Kovalev, and, of course, Mario Lemieux.
Well, it did have the Sabres scrambling a bit as they try to look to the bench for some assistance on positioning. And the linesmen say, let's get going.
And if they win the draw, Straka will just wire it around behind the net to Mario Lemieux. Right now, here he goes. No, he didn't do it. It's a try.
Goes back to Laukkanen, and now Lemieux's got it. Takes the shot, gets it back. But Warner not giving Lemieux a view of the net. And now Warner goes after him, and it'll come to Straka, and he fired right on. Lemieux at the side of the net. Warner blocked that. And the puck is rolled down the ice.
Oh, what a terrific save by Dominik Hasek as Straka just walked into that puck and hit it right at the top of the circle.
And Laukkanen got the center, fires it in, comes around to Lemieux, tried to kick at it, and it came back outside the line. 2:02 to go in the third. Pittsburgh trying to play catch-up as the Sabres have a 2-goal lead. Kalinin, he'll send it down the ice, wide of the goal, and Laukkanen back to get the icing touch with 1:48 left on the clock.
And Kalinin might have had a brain cramp there, thinking that they were on the power play, or on the power play for a minute, because it is a 4-on-4 situation. And, of course, they're only on the power play, Pittsburgh, because the goalie is up.
I don't think that's a bad play with a 2-goal lead.
I don't like it.
Take a shot at the net.
When anytime you get Mario Lemieux on the ice, I don't like it at all. Not from there. Get the safe play and get it out in the neutral zone. And now Pittsburgh's going to call a timeout, and they're going to have a face-off in the Buffalo end. I still don't like it, Chris. You're not going to sell me on that one. There's lots of time, and Pittsburgh are controlling the puck. Kalinin might have just chipped it off the boards or made a safe play, gain center ice, then take a run at the empty net. Let's see what Hlinka's going to draw here. Can we have a peek? Off the draw, looks like it's going to go behind the net. You can see that he's drawn the play to go behind the net.
We've seen some dramatic comebacks this season in the playoffs. Let's see what Alinka can draw up here.
Well, if Straka has the puck on the side boards off the draw here, he's going to go right behind the net to Mario Lemieux. If it goes back this way, then obviously they're going to work on Ferentz this side. No, he's going to go straight up. Now he's talking to Mario Lemieux at the moment over here. And now Mario's told the kid, hey kid, you block out. I'm going to block out. And if that happens, then look for Kovalev to go this way if they win the draw straight back.
Finally, we're ready. Brown on the draw, and he won the key face-off for the Sabres. Warner, he's smothered there by Straka. Puck on the boards. Laying all over Verata, and it'll come loose to the near side, and Kovalev gets there first. Puck along the boards, Brown and Kovalev. Now they get control. Back to Kovalev. And Ferentz. Cross ice for Lemieux, cut off by Warner. And that puck deflecting off the Sabre down the ice. And it will be icing again.
And the Sabres are claiming that they touched it first on the other side of center. Brett Warner with a great play as he intercepted the pass going across to Mario Lemieux. And he's done a good job on Lemieux so far on this 5-on-4 situation. And here it is here. Kovalev trying to go straight through the box, and a lovely read by Warner. And that is one of the ways that they've been able to cut off Mario Lemieux on the power play tonight. The other one is to stick to him like glue by the side of the net.
And earlier in that sequence, when Lemieux did have the puck, Warner just didn't give him a good look at the net. There's Hedberg, who's been one of the better Penguins tonight, but now on the bench for the extra attacker. Barnes on this face-off against Lang, and Barnes did the job, and Lemieux unable to club it down inside the zone. They'll move right back in, though. Here's Straka, Kovalev to the net, and Ashik got a stick on that. 1 minute to go. Kovalev puts it in the slot. Puck is loose. Straka tries to fish it out. Lang fanned on a shot. And Straka knocked down, kept in by Ferentz. Penalized players are back, so it's 6 skaters to 5. Lemieux swung it in for Straka. Here's Kovalev trying to center. Lang took a whack at it. Ferentz to Lemieux right on. Stevens, and that one went wide. Great pressure by the Penguins, but they're running out of time. Stu Barnes up with it. Can't get it out, but now, no, Ferentz knocked it down. Will Buffalo get it out? Yes. Third try, Patrick off the boards and in. What a bank shot by James Patrick. And Buffalo has a 4-1 lead.
There you go. You make the right play by putting it off the boards and out, and you get a break. It goes to net, Mr. Cuthbert.
4-1 Buffalo with 20.5. I like that free shot at the goal.
Well, there it is right here. And a lucky play by Patrick, but that seals the victory for the Buffalo Sabres. And Buffalo, they deserve a lot of credit. They came in here, played a very patient game with Pittsburgh through a couple of periods, got that big first goal in the second period, in the second half of that period. That gave them the confidence they needed. And from that point on, they turned it up a notch, and Pittsburgh had very few chances to score during the second half of this game. A very disappointed crowd files out here in Pittsburgh.
20.5 seconds to go. Jason Woolley, his goal should stand up as the winner here. And of his 10 playoff goals, 5 would be game winners. As the time winds down, Buffalo Sabres get right back in this series, and although everyone was trying to deflect, now Christoph Oliva is on the ice, and he took a little swat at Curtis Brown, who's been shadowing Mario Lemieux tonight. So the fourth line, or at least Oliva, who has not been on since midway through the first, stirs things up.
Setting the table for the next game, perhaps. There. Brown is okay for that little shot to the face. That'll be it for Oliva.
This happening with 0.8 seconds to go.
One way to get on the score sheet, I guess.
Speaking of the score sheet, the last playoff goal for James Patrick was back in 1990. So 11 years since he bent the twine. And an empty netter by the Winnipeg native. The icing on the cake here tonight.
18th season in the National Hockey League. He's played 111 career playoff games. So a real solid veteran on defense for Buffalo.
And the horn goes to end game number 3, and the Buffalo Sabres get right back in this series.
And all the pressure now shifts back to the Pittsburgh Penguins because they need to win the next game to keep their home ice advantage.
The first time in these playoffs, Pittsburgh scored first and not won. The Dominator did just that tonight. 2 in the third, 3 in the third, and Buffalo wins it.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs on Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Labatt Blue. What would you do for the Stanley Cup?
Hello, Canada, and welcome to the kickoff of 70s weekend here on ESPN Classic Canada. Over the next 3 days, you'll revisit some of the greatest and most historic games to be played during the decade. But for the next hour, we're going to look back at some of the games, the moments, the individuals who shaped the sports world during the 70s. From Game 8 of the Summit Series to the Blue Jays' first game, to the Miami Dolphins' perfect season. We've got it all covered. And coming up a little later, we'll give you the best teams and best moments from the 70s as voted by you. Now here's a look at what is coming up tonight. Immediately following, we'll present the first game in Blue Jays history from a cold and snowy exhibition stadium. That's followed by Game 8 of the historic 72 Summit Series between Team Canada and the Soviet Union. Our weekend continues at noon Saturday as we kick off a 12-hour marathon with Game 6 of the 74 Stanley Cup Final between the Bruins and Flyers. Other highlights include Game 6, the 75 World Series between Cincinnati and Boston, plus the Rumble in the Jungle at 11 Eastern. And we are not done yet. No way, because on Sunday we have another 12 hours straight beginning at noon Eastern with Game 7 of the 78 NHL playoff between the Leafs and Islanders. The Dolphins' perfect season is also in there, as is the Battle of the Sexes, the 75 Wimbledon final, and at 10 Eastern, it's the first home game ever for the Edmonton Oilers when they join the NHL from the World Hockey Association. Well, the year was 1972, and Marlon Brando, as the Godfather, was making an offer he couldn't refuse. Pierre Trudeau was the Prime Minister, and Richard Nixon the President. And pro hockey underwent a major change. The NHL added teams, and a new league was also part of the hockey landscape. The World Hockey Association began play in 1972, and it would be the first major pro hockey league to rival the NHL in 55 years. 12 teams, including clubs in Canadian cities such as Edmonton, Winnipeg, Ottawa, and Quebec City, were included. As well, the league also ventured into non-traditional markets such as Dayton, Ohio, Miami, and
inside the zone. They'll move right back in, though. Here's Straka. Kovalev to the net. And Ashik got his stick on that. 1 minute to go. Kovalev puts it in the slot. Puck is loose. Straka tries to fish it out. Lane fanned on a shot. And Straka knocked down, kept in by Ferentz. Penalized players are back, so it's 6 skaters to 5. Lemieux swung it in for Straka. Here's Kovalev trying to center. Lang took a whack at it. Ferentz to Lemieux right on. Stevens, and that one went wide. Great pressure by the Penguins, but they're running out of time. Stu Barnes up with it. Can't get it out, but now, no, Ferentz knocked it down. Will Buffalo get it out? Yes. Third try, Patrick off the boards and in. What a big shot by James Patrick. And Buffalo has a 4-1 lead.
There you go. You make the right play by putting it off the boards, and out you get a break. It goes to net, Mr. Cuthbert.
4-1 Buffalo with 20.5 I like that free shot at the goal.
Well, there it is right here. And a lucky play by Patrick, but that seals the victory for the Buffalo Sabres. And Buffalo, they deserve a lot of credit. They came in here, played a very patient game with Pittsburgh through a couple of periods, got that big first goal in the second period, in the second half of that period. That gave them the confidence they needed. And from that point on, they turned it up a notch, and Pittsburgh had very few chances to score during the second half of this game. A very disappointed crowd files out here in Pittsburgh.
20.5 seconds to go. Jason Woolley, his goal should stand up as the winner here. And of his 10 playoff goals, 5 would be game winners. As the time winds down, Buffalo Sabres get right back in this series. And although everyone was trying to deflect, now Christoph Oliva is on the ice, and he took a little swat at Curtis Brown, who's been shadowing Mario Lemieux tonight. So the fourth line, or at least Oliva, who has not been on since midway through the first, stirs things up.
Setting the table for the next game, perhaps. There. And Brown is okay for that little shot to the face. That'll be it for Oliva.
This happening with 0.8 seconds to go.
One way to get on the score sheet, I guess.
Speaking of the score sheet, the last playoff goal for James Patrick was back in 1990. So 11 years since he bent the twine. And an empty netter by the Winnipeg native. The icing on the cake here tonight.
18th season in the National Hockey League. He's played 111 career playoff games. So a real solid veteran on defense for Buffalo.
And the horn goes to end game number 3, and the Buffalo Sabres get right back in this series.
And all the pressure now shifts back to the Pittsburgh Penguins because they need to win the next game to keep their home ice advantage.
The first time in these playoffs, Pittsburgh scored first and not won. The Dominator did just that tonight. 2 in the third, 3 in the third, and Buffalo wins it.
Stanley Cup Playoffs on Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Labatt Blue. What would you do for the Stanley Cup?